आप और प्रखर एक साथ हो, तो एक वो डिफरेंस कैसा है, मतलब वर्किंग विद अदर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स एंड वर्किंग विद हिम, कैसा है वो वाला?
I texted him straight up, ठीक है. I'm like, bro, I heard कि यार तू न्यूयॉर्क जा रहा है, मैं भी अभी जा रहा हूँ, ठीक है. तो साथ में रहेगा, let's take an apartment together or something, okay? And he's like, bro, I don't even know you, okay? I don't know, right?
आप मतलब कोई टेल मी सम थिंग्स, जो आपको लगा हो कि यार यूट्यूब में अभी भी, इंडियन यूट्यूब कम्युनिटी में अभी भी बहुत गलत हो रही है, जो हमें बाहर से तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है कंटेंट क्रिएशन ये, बट बैक स्टेज पे जो हो रहा है, जो आपको लग रहा है यार ये अभी भी बहुत आउटडेटेड है यार, ये या तो मतलब दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट, जो आपको लगा हो?
I've worked with like Western creators
या
here, right?
या
Influencers
या
and everything, right?
या
I see a huge vision difference.
पीछे
LA and you go to a cafe, right?
हाँ
Bro, people are actually drinking coffees and having a conversation face to face in LA.
हम्म,
You go to a cafe in New York, people are on their laptops,
हाँ
right? So I have gone to one of the best boarding schools of India, then went to one of the best cities of India, studied in one of the best colleges of India, right? Now I'm in one of the fastest growing best cities of the world, studying in one of the best media schools of the world, right? And I was like, dude, if I'm not grateful for that, what?
क्या चल रहा है फिर?
Bro, I have a paper due tomorrow, my final paper. I'm graduating in a week.
फाइनल पेपर कल है? रियली रियली सॉरी
50
मैन,
पेजेस लिखने हैं मुझे.
रियली सॉरी मैन कि मैंने आज
नहीं
करा। मेरे को बहुत लग रहा है मैंने
नहीं.
शिटी डेट चुनी है ये करने के लिए। उस पे ऐश
अरे कोई
ऐश थीसिस पे लिख के आ रहा होगा, ये प्रथम की वजह से हुआ है जो आज।
यार स्कूल का काम है यार. It always goes, it works itself out in the end moment, you know.
सो
So
मतलब यार न्यूयॉर्क में कितना टाइम हो गया आपको?
I'll be completing almost 2 years now.
ओह, सो एंड यू आर डूइंग फिल्म मेकिंग, राइट?
नहीं, यार I would have gone to, it's such an interesting story. I would have gone to a film school if COVID did not happen.
हम्म
I was very close to going to film school, right? And then जब COVID हुआ, I realized that people are watching everything on this, and
हाँ
nobody's going to like,
या
uh, the theaters anymore. So then I wanted to go to a school which teaches me how to make films, aka videos, and which teaches me how films make money. So how to make films and how films make money.
हाँ
So that's how I ended up at the new school. I'm studying Masters of Science in Media Management.
ओके, सो इसके बाद मतलब क्या फिर यू विल बी मेकिंग फिल्म्स, और मतलब कैसा रहेगा इसका?
No, yeah. So it's like over the last 2 years, my approach has been to understand what content is and also to understand what content is not. Okay. A lot of people know, okay, this works, this is the content, things like that, right? But you also need to know after permutation, a series of permutations and combinations of creating content, experimenting with it, right? I've been working with so many creators. I now know what content is not, right? Say for example, अगर हम vlog बना, ठीक है, तो is vlog a compilation of funny clips put together, or is vlog a storyline which has a proper setup like filmmaking, right? A setup, a conflict, and a resolution to it, right? And so the answer lied in the second option, which is, of course, the compilation of funny clips does not make a vlog, right?
या
It is a proper conflict, a proper setup, a proper resolution, like that.
सो आई मीन
तो इन फैक्ट मैं प्रखर के साथ जब बना रहा था व्लॉग्स, ठीक है, आई थिंक इट्स द थर्ड व्लॉग, नंबर 3 or 4, वन ऑफ दीज, ओके. सो देयर इज अ अपार्टमेंट, उसके अपार्टमेंट पे पार्टी थी, ठीक है,
या
वी वेंट देयर. द थिंग इज इट्स सो इंटरेस्टिंग एंड नोबडी नोज दिस अप अंटिल नाउ, ओके. देयर वर 2 parties हैपनिंग दैट वीकेंड,
ओके
ठीक है. एक थी फ्राइडे को, एक थी सैटरडे को, ठीक है. अब यार बहुत रिगरस होता था बिकॉज आई हैड माई कॉलेज एज वेल, तो आई कुड नॉट गो shoot both the parties, otherwise वो 2 अलग-अलग vlogs होते हैं, ठीक है. So what happened was, Friday को party हुई, ठीक है, and I went to his place Saturday morning, और सैटरडे को एक और पार्टी थी. तो जब मैं सैटरडे को गया, आई वाज लाइक, ब्रो पूरा घर तहस नहस हो रखा है, ठीक है. सब बॉटल्स पड़ी है, गंदगी हो रखी है, ठीक है, ग्लासेस जो रेड ग्लासेस
रेड
होते हैं,
ग्लासेस
वो सब गिरे पड़े हैं, ठीक है. तो बस, और फिर मैं व्लॉग कर रहा था एंड आई वाज आस्किंग प्रखर क्वेश्चंस, गिविंग हिम प्रॉम्प्ट्स कि यार बता कैसी रही कल की पार्टी, एंड आई वाज लाइक, ब्रो बहुत मजे कल, ठीक है, ये हुआ, कुछ तो लोग मुझे जानते भी थे, ठीक है, कुछ इंडियंस भी थे, ठीक है. सो वी रिकॉर्डेड ऑल ऑफ दैट, ओके. आई वॉज देयर एट हिज प्लेस, ठीक है. तो फिर जो सैटरडे को पार्टी थी, पार्टी नंबर 2, वो शुरू हुई एंड वी रिकॉर्डेड, ठीक है, उसका व्लॉग बनाया. नाउ व्हेन इट केम टू एडिट ना, how I edited, stitched it together was, मैंने पार्टी से शुरू किया और बीच में मैंने कट्स डाले थे, ठीक है. तो जो सुबह के शॉट्स थे और रात के शॉट्स। रात को पार्टी हुई थी, सुबह प्रखर बोल रहा था कि ब्रो वो पार्टी कैसी थी,
हाँ।
ठीक है। तो जिस पार्टी के बारे में प्रखर बात कर रहा है, ब्रो कल बहुत मजे आए, ठीक है, वो पार्टी का वो व्लॉग है ही नहीं।
अच्छा।
That I took from the party before, ठीक है,
ओके।
and the real party, so there was a second party that happened
अच्छा,
next time.
ये बैक स्टोरी का यार मेरे
तो
को। हाँ
अगर तुम व्लॉग देखोगे फिर से, तो now you'll be able to make sense of what it
हाँ।
is.
यार मैं
तो
सच।
फ्राइडे द
हम्म।
क्रोनोलॉजी इज, फ्राइडे को पार्टी,
हम्म।
ठीक है, वो मैंने
हम्म।
कवर अप नहीं की। मैं सैटरडे मॉर्निंग पहुंचा, घर तहस नहस हो रखा है पिछली रात की पार्टी से, ठीक है, और फिर सैटरडे नाइट की जो पार्टी है वो रिकॉर्ड की, एंड आई स्टिच्ड इट टुगेदर सो दैट यू थिंक ओके इट्स द सेम थिंग, इट्स द सेम डे।
हाँ। सो अच्छा।
सो दैट इज व्हाट स्टोरी इज, नो।
आई मीन मैं
हाँ
सच्ची बताऊं, यूजुअली यार मेरे को पहले व्लॉग्स देखना बहुत पसंद था, एंड मैंने प्रखर के सारे व्लॉग्स देखे हैं, क्योंकि मेरे लिए
हाँ,
एक एक तो वो वाला हो जाता है ना हिसाब यार, एक अमेरिका का मेरे को कल्चर दिख रहा है इंडिया के वाले पर्सपेक्टिव से। और भाई और
राइट
इंडिया का तो यार व्लॉगिंग का पता ही है, सीन बहुत ही, एक तो डेली व्लॉग्स चल रखे हैं बिल्कुल बिग बॉस वाले,
राइट।
ठीक है। मतलब मैं ही अपने घर पे यहाँ पे देख रहा हूँ कि क्या हो रहा है, और वही मैं बिल्कुल वही फैमिली व्लॉग्स चल रहे हैं वहां पे, और बहुत बोरिंग है।
हाँ
मतलब मेरे को ये है कि भाई मेरे घर में भी वही सब हो रहा है, तो मुझे कुछ नया देखना है, कुछ कुछ तो अलग सा दिखाओ। एंड जब मैंने प्रखर के
राइट।
व्लॉग्स देखे यार, वो मेरे को उस चीज में दिखा, क्योंकि एंड दे वर इंटरेस्टिंग, पर वो अब लाइक व्हाई यू गाइस स्टॉप्ड, अब वो आ क्यों नहीं रहे?
यार एक तो ओके, ऑनेस्ट थिंग, इट वाज गेटिंग वेरी रिगरस,
हम्म।
पुटिंग वन व्लॉग आउट एवरी वीक,
हम्म।
ठीक है, टू शूट इट, टू एडिट इट, प्लस मेरा स्कूल भी था, मैं भी यार न्यूयॉर्क आया ही था,
हाँ हाँ
तो मुझे यार सिटी से अडेप्ट होना था,
हाँ
बहुत सारी चीज़ें चल रही
हाँ
थी, तो एक टाइम के बाद थोड़ा बर्नआउट हो गया था
हाँ।
वहाँ पे।
सो
Also the quality of the vlogs,
हाँ।
it's like it was a constant learning.
हम्म।
तो प्रखर में मैंने ये किया था, I still have a Excel sheet.
हाँ।
So my homework was every day I would watch at least 3 vlogs,
हम्म।
3 whole vlogs.
हम्म।
It could be David Dobrik, it could be Logan Paul, it could be Kylie Jenner, it could
ओके।
be anybody.
ओके।
ठीक है, and we would see those vlogs,
हाँ।
and then मैं लिखता था name of the vlog, name of the channel, link of the vlog, right, and then learnings from it, right,
अच्छा।
comments, remarks, right, bro this vlog had a great ending, this is vlog goals, right, this vlog had a great climax, or this vlog had a great ending, right,
हम्म।
ठीक है, तो वो पूरी एक्सेल शीट मेंटेन कर पास, ठीक है, फॉर
हम्म।
लाइक वी डिड इट फॉर लाइक 3 entirely, right? So now मुझे काम कैसे आई वो चीज इज, से मैं एक नया व्लॉग एडिट कर रहा हूँ,
हाँ
ओके, फॉर प्रखर,
हाँ।
और यार मुझे एंडिंग नहीं मिल रही है, हम लाइक यार ये एवरीथिंग लुक्स ग्रेट अप
हम्म।
अंटिल नाउ, यहाँ पे रिटेंशन जा रहा है यूजर्स का, ठीक है, हाउ डू आई मेक अ ग्रेट एंडिंग,
हम्म।
ठीक है, सो आई हैड अ शीट रेडी,
हम्म।
I just had to open that sheet, go to the remarks, the comments, the learnings from the vlog,
हाँ
right, and when I go there I would be like okay this vlog had great ending,
हाँ।
and I would watch that, I was like okay इसने ऐसे किया है।
एंड हाँ यार, वो सच्ची बताऊं, मैं वही मैं कहना चाह रहा था पहले, कि वो दिख रहा था कि व्लॉग्स में ना, मैं यही कहता था यार ये व्लॉग्स बहुत अलग है। एंड मैं और इंडिया के व्लॉग्स में बताया ना, जैसे पहले वही डेली व्लॉग चला पड़ा है कि सुबह उठो भाई अपना
हाँ
दिखा दो कि भाई मैं उठ गया, और रात को ये कि गाइस ये था मेरा देखो खाना, अब हम सोने जा रहे हैं बस, और खत्म, और वो कुछ है ही नहीं
राइट।
इंटरेस्टिंग। एंड तो
No, I understand. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough
हम्म।
to create content, right? From as a creative director, producer
हाँ।
as well, and also I understand from Prakhar's side.
हम्म।
I'll tell you one crazy thing. प्रखर, चल मैं बता देता हूँ, ठीक है।
हाँ
तो हमने पहला पहला व्लॉग बनाया, ठीक
हाँ
है, एंड ब्रो आई हैव दिस टेंडेंसी टू शूट एवरीथिंग, प्रखर डजंट इवन नो कि कब रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है,
हाँ।
कैमराज आर ऑन 24/7 इफ
अच्छा।
यू आर फिल्मिंग,
ओके।
ठीक है, वो वॉशरूम भी जा रहा है तो मेरे माय कैमरा इज ऑन
या।
समवेयर, ठीक है, बिकॉज ऑल्सो माई जॉब इज टू बी अ फ्लाई ऑन द वॉल समटाइम्स, कि यार ओके उसको पता नहीं होना चाहिए और मैंने वो रिकॉर्ड कर लिया है,
हाँ
ठीक है, मेरे पास मोमेंट है,
हाँ।
एंड देन बिकॉज द थिंग इज इफ आई हैव लेस फुटेजेस आई हैव लेस कंट्रोल ओवर द एडिट टेबल।
हम्म।
अब मैं अगर बैठा हूँ यहाँ पे एडिट टेबल पे और मेरे पास बहुत सारी फुटेजेस है,
हम्म।
आई हैव द एंटायर नैरेटिव इज इन माई कंट्रोल,
हम्म।
start, middle, end, climax, retention, everything,
या।
right? तो मैं comfort, तो the thing is I have to go through sorting, I have to go and sort all those footages,
हम्म।
right? अब क्या होता है ना, when we started the vlog, it's a new thing for the talent as well,
हम्म।
right? तो it becomes it's very energy expensive.
हम्म।
Making vlogs is very
या।
energy expensive for the talent,
हम्म।
right? So I, as the director, uh, if I'm not empathetic of the fact
हम्म।
कि यार bro ये बहुत
या।
energy expensive है, ठीक है, 80% of my job is to create a safe space for the
हम्म।
talent so they can just focus on one thing, which is perform
या।
their performance, that's it, nothing else. So Prakhar ko eventually like that trust built up, right?
हम्म।
He's like okay he doesn't have to care about if the frame is looking good or not, right,
हम्म।
if the cameras are on or not, if the sound is proper or not,
हम्म।
हवा आ रही है,
हम्म।
anything,
हम्म।
right, technical, तो वो free mentally, ठीक है,
या।
now we can literally perform
या।
the very job that he's supposed to do,
हम्म।
right? So we made like 2 vlogs. It was a new thing for him as well,
हाँ
for me as
हाँ।
well, right? And then for the third vlog, right? First vlog was basically Colombia, which was itna sara footage tha, so we had to break
Yeah,
it
yeah,
into
yeah, yeah.
parts.
I remember.
Uske
I
baad,
remember.
our best performing vlog so far, right? Officially vlog number 2, but it's a third vlog in the playlist, right? Um, कुछ ऐसा है कि an Indian crashing
American
a
Party.
Jewish party,
American
something like that.
Party. Yeah, yeah,
हाँ
yeah.
हाँ हाँ हाँ,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
right right,
yeah,
ठीक है. तो दिन प्रखर और मैंने बात की एक रात पहले, एंड वी वर लाइक चल ठीक है कल शूट करना है,
yeah.
ठीक है, एंड दिस इज काइंड ऑफ द these are the events that are happening tomorrow. Ash, अब देख ले जो करना है, ठीक है. मेरी क्लास थी, क्लास के बाद मैं गया प्रखर के पास, एंड प्रखर ऐसे लेटा हुआ है बिस्तर में, ठीक है. आई एम लाइक चलो लेट्स गो, लेट्स शूट द व्लॉग. इज लाइक ब्रो ऐश आई एम टायर्ड, ठीक है. आई एम लाइक क्यों, क्या हो गया, ठीक है. इज लाइक यार आई डोंट नो, ठीक है. एंड देन the 80% safe space wala factor came in, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I'm like, okay, 1 second, there's a difference, okay, tell me, are you feeling tired or are you feeling discouraged? Right, again it's energy expensive, right? So then we spoke for a bit, ठीक है, थोड़ा therapeutic बातें की हमने, ठीक है. And I was like, okay, तो meditate कर, I'm going down, grabbing a coffee, eating something, and I'll be back, ठीक है. He meditated for 45 minutes, and then we shot the vlog, and it's so our best performing vlog.
नहीं मैं वही वो
So
दिखता
like,
है, वो
so
दिखता है.
it's this exactly. So yeah, and this I've learned from working with a bunch of influencers back in India, right? Say there was this one time I was shooting एक influencer के लिए an Instagram reel, right? For a lingerie brand, right? अब यार I'm a guy and she's a girl, right? Of course there'll be a slight discomfort. It's a lingerie brand, right?
Yeah.
And so I realized that okay, and with lingerie brand, it has to look very effortless, right? If you're putting in effort, it doesn't look sexy, right? And I'm like, यार, I can't name the influencer. I'm like, यार, dude, मजा नहीं आ रहा है. मतलब, I mean, it's like वो एक effortlessness नहीं आ रहा है, ठीक है? Which makes for a right? And so I was like, okay, come, let's sit, let's talk. So we spoke, right? बातें की मैंने, and then I played some music and things like that, and then it became better, right? So it's like nothing major changed, right? Except she felt safe in that environment. She felt confident, and she also felt safe. Ki, chalo yaar, now we can do it. And we put out a solid video for that. There was a transition kind of a thing in that. But yeah, so this is what I realized over the years. I'm like, yaar, as a director or even as a person behind the lens, behind the camera, my job is to create a safe space for the creator. Right, that's it. और उसमें भी एक step होता है, because like when you work with influencers and creators at an early age, right, you kind of look up to them, right? You are also sort of say intimidated by them, right? Because you admire them, right? तो वो ice break करना बहुत जरूरी है वहाँ पे. No, think of them as friends. Talk to them. Acknowledge what's happening. Create a safe space and move on, right? And that skill also came very handy later on, because I have literally been working in unstructured organizations, right? And by unstructured, what I mean is startups, working with influencers who don't have a team yet, right? So I would like create processes, right? Unstructured also means less resources. Yeah, we don't have the money, or we don't have the manpower, or we don't have ideas, right? But we want to put a great product, right? What can we do? So those are the problems I solved. And then as a result of which, yeah, I was working with Gen Zs mostly, right? So yeah, initially also in my early days when I would like work at agencies, right? Influencer marketing agencies, ad agencies, there would be a lot of Gen Zs around. Would be interns, right? और जब मैं जाके देखता था, I'm like, यार, one intern is doing 5 things, right? That intern, she's writing a script for the YouTuber. That intern is also talking to the brands, right? Emails and everything. कि okay, क्या कर सकते हैं? The brief, being a medium between the influencer, the agency, and the production people, things like that, right? So जिस चीज को यार आधा घंटा लगना चाहिए करने को, ठीक है? She would take like 5 hours. Right? Because there's no course on this thing, right? There's no course how to manage influencers. There's no course on how to become a brand manager, right? There's no course on how to create a safe space for the performers, right? So this is what I saw, and I'm like, okay, come sit with me, right? And I was like, okay, you know what, scripting में इतना time लग रहा है, but तेरी जो skill ही नहीं है scripting की, why are you doing that? If you are doing that, cool, let's do it, right? So then I started to like make processes and operations very efficient. तो 20 मिनट के काम को अगर 5 घंटे लग रहे हैं, ठीक है, so I got it down to like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, ठीक है. So over these years looking back now, I'm like, okay, this is how Gen Z's work. इनको ये चाहिए. This is so funny. I was on my LinkedIn और किसी ने डाला था कि यार Gen Z's को promotion दो तो भी काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, something like that, okay? Companies are lining up and they're like, okay, take a promotion every 6 months, take a promotion. And I commented that. I'm like, dude, no, 1 second. There's a big gap in understanding the definition of promotion, what it means for Gen Zs,
Yeah.
and what it means for the corporates and the companies.
हाँ.
तुम्हारे लिए promotion हुआ, हाँ, दे दो, right?
हाँ.
यार Gen Zs के लिए promotion है यार, you just show some confidence in them,
हाँ.
create a safe space for them, so they're able to confront you, right? They feel present, they feel a part of the bigger vision. That is promotion for them.
Yeah.
You know?
मैं
तो
यूजुअली
yeah.
जैसे मैं कंटेंट क्रिएशन में बहुत नया हूँ, यू नो आई हैव नॉट टॉक्ड विद दिस कॉर्पोरेशंस एंड ब्रांड्स, बट मैंने देखा था कि एक दो मैंने क्रिएटर्स को सुना था, वो खुद ही कह रहे थे कि उनके कॉर्पोरेट वालों के लिए ये है कि सिर्फ भाई तुम एक वीडियो बनाओ और अपना एक हमारा बस डाल दो, उन्हें कुछ मतलब नहीं है कि यू नो व्हाट यू आर ट्राइंग टू डिपिक्ट, तुम्हारा मैसेज क्या है या तुम्हारा कंटेंट क्या है, उन्हें बस ये है कि उन्हें उनका ब्रांड
Right.
अच्छे से दिखना चाहिए, एंड वो एक डिफरेंस आता है।
slap their
हाँ
logo
हाँ हाँ,
in the
बस बस
top
बस
right
बस
corner.
बस बस बस।
Right?
एंड जो यार
Yeah.
आपने वो वाली बात कही ना ऐश, क्या कहते हैं कि टू मेक देम फील स्पेस, तो मैं ऑडियंस को यार ये खुद जो टू एनीवन हु इज लिसनिंग, तो मैंने ऐश को मैसेज करा कि लेट्स हैव एन कन्वर्सेशन, तो और वही ये हुआ, ऐश ने कहा यार आ जाओ गूगल मीट पे आ जा करते हैं बात, तो मैंने करी एंड यू आर सो फ्रेंडली कि बिल्कुल मुझे यार ऐसा लग रहा था कि ठीक है भाई आराम से करेंगे, क्योंकि मेरा एक कोई फ्रेंड ही है वहाँ पे, तो एक मेरे को भी सेफ स्पेस लगी। तो एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू नो मैं भी एक वो अपना कर पा रहा हूँ अच्छे से, क्योंकि बिकॉज वी हैव नेवर मेट, है ना, और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि
Right.
बहुत आई नो अ लॉट अबाउट यू, तो अब पर वी टॉक, एक वो सेफ स्पेस मुझे भी लगी, हाँ यार ऐश चिल बंदा है, कुछ नहीं होगा तो अपनी नॉर्मल कन्वर्सेशन करेंगे, तो मेरे को भी एक वो सेफ स्पेस
Right.
का ये मैंने कहा था, मैंने खुद यू नो ट्राई टू लर्न कि इफ यू आर वर्किंग विद एनीवन तो एक वो सेफ स्पेस करो ताकि वो भी कंफर्टेबल रहे, एंड दैट रियली
Right.
वर्क।
Right. यार यार there are so many variables because यार अगर Gen Zs के लिए आज का नया culture is very new, right? Even for millennials and older
Yeah.
boomers, right? उनके लिए भी तो यार this is new.
Yeah.
If you tell them hey FYI in your emails, they don't know what it means, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is किसी एक पार्टी को तो कॉम्प्रोमाइज करना है वहाँ
हाँ.
पे यार, ठीक है? Either the boomers and millennials compromise so
Yeah.
that they get Gen Zs on board, right?
Yeah.
Or either Gen Zs will have to compromise, right? And
हाँ.
I don't see Gen Zs compromising there,
Hmm.
right? Times have changed, yeah. I mean, work initially for my father, right? Or like even the generation of boomers, work meant work, and then they got this social life out of like clubs and everything here, right? वो घर जाते थे, they would spend family time and everything, but work was just work. That is it.
Yeah.
Work was loyal to you, you were loyal to work. That is it, right? Gen Z के साथ क्या है? I also tweeted about this thing. They so many Gen Zs have family issues, right?
Yeah.
Because their families do not get their dreams. Either they don't have the words to articulate it to their families or the courage to express it and be rebellious about it, right? But yeah, the gap is कि यार their families, most of them don't understand what they want to do, right? तो क्या होता है ना, when they want to work, right, at any company or something, they family out of work. Right? This is what I've seen. Here, whatever company I go to, I want family out of that work. I want friends out of that work. I want my social life out of that work. I also want to take my problems. Mera breakup ho gaya, I'll go to my workplace and I'll tell them this thing. You know, company ke Slack channels and WhatsApp groups have become like a gossip channel also, right? And I'm not saying what is wrong and what is right here. I'm just saying, and I'm not even saying that what it should be. I'm a very observant speaker, right? I'm just observing something. I'm like, okay, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
है Gen Zs को एक acknowledgement चाहिए, ठीक है? Now, speaking of acknowledgement, I think this thing is super confused, right? These two terms are kind of interchangeable, which it shouldn't be, right? Which is validation and acknowledgement, right? The organizations, the folks at the corporates and the companies, they think यार इनको validation चाहिए, लेकिन no, they are far from validation, right?
Yeah.
Of course validation चाहिए उनको, ठीक है, but that is not the first thing that I have observed, right? All they need is a sense of acknowledgement. Acknowledge कर दो, that's it. You know, acknowledge their feelings, desires, कि यार hey, something as simple as how's it going back at home, right? All good, something like that. Like acknowledge whatever fears they have, and they have a lot
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
That is it.
So-
Just acknowledge it. It's the same. It sends me back to the same point, right? Creating 80% of the job is creating a safe space for whoever you're working with. If you are in a position of a manager or a leader,
I mean, so do you think एक communication problem है? Is it the important thing is communication?
Communication is funny यार, क्योंकि क्या हो रहा है ना, मिलेनियल्स से बातें कर रहे हैं, बोल रहे हैं यार
हाँ,
जेनजी सक.
हाँ,
जेनजी से बातें कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, एंड दे आर लाइक मिलेनियल्स सक,
हाँ,
दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड
हाँ,
अस, राइट? बट दे आर नॉट टॉकिंग टू ईच अदर.
हुँ,
Go to LinkedIn, hashtag search millennials, hashtag, go to LinkedIn, search hashtag GenZs,
हुँ,
right? You will find so many millennials talking to each other. एक millennial दूसरे millennial के comment पे comment कर रहा है, post पे comment कर रहा है, ठीक है? They are interacting with themselves.
हुँ,
All of them are bitching about the other generation, right?
हुँ.
But none of them are speaking to each other. A
Yeah,
few who are
yeah, that's
doing
what I'm
it,
trying to
right?
say, yeah.
They're succeeding.
Hmm. But I
तो वो
think
है also यार, like the communication is tricky here because it's like they don't like you don't even speak the same language as them.
hmm,
You know what I mean?
hmm, hmm,
It's
hmm.
like I don't want to write my emails greetings for the day. Hi, hope
Yeah,
you had a great day, or yours sincerely, right?
yeah,
I want to write, hey, hope you're having a dope day.
yeah,
समझ रहा है? The
yeah,
communication is happening then, right?
hmm.
So
ये
वो है यार. I think.
ये
Hmm,
ईमेल वाला तो मैं खुद अब जैसे अब मैं करता हूँ ना, अब मेरे को अब मान लो पॉडकास्ट के लिए कोल्ड ईमेल में एक करना है, आपको करना है, तो मैं यही लिखूंगा, भाई क्या हाल है,
right,
ऐसे ऐसे करके ब्रो मैन. अब यही मैं एक भेज रहा हूँ 40 इयर्स के, 35 ईयर के मिलेनियल को भी मैं कह लूँ, तो वही मुझे अब लगता है यार कि अब मैं ये होप यू डूइंग वेल कर रहा हूँ, कि है ना, लेट्स हैव अ गुड कन्वर्सेशन, एक वो
right,
फॉर्म बन जाता है. एंड तो
right.
बट लाइक यू सेड दैट यू वर्क विद डिफरेंट इन्फ्लुएंसर्स, है ना? तो
Hmm.
एंड नाउ आप और प्रखर एक साथ हो, तो एक वो डिफरेंस कैसा है, मतलब वर्किंग विद अदर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स एंड वर्किंग विद हिम, कैसा है वो वाला एक?
It's more holistic right now. Yeah, it's like I have kind of been in the category creation, right?
हुँ,
As producer director, right, from the start.
हुँ,
So I started editing videos years earlier, right,
या,
way back. And then I'm like, okay, I know how to edit, right? And then I started shooting
हुँ,
a few videos, like taking by hand, right? And I'm like, okay, now I know how to shoot and edit both, right?
हुँ,
And I'm like, okay, ideas are coming to me, so I can conceptualize as well, right? I'm like, okay, so instead of working with an agency, right, why do I not join one creator
हुँ,
and take charge of all of it,
हुँ,
right?
हुँ,
Again, the category that it created was a post, right, where I am taking, I am doing what I'm great at, and
हुँ,
I'm letting and making space for the creator to do what they are good at and they should be doing,
हुँ,
right?
हुँ, या,
So I would like share screenshots also with you, okay, of my
हाँ, हाँ,
emails
हाँ,
which I sent to a lot of like big influencers back in
ओके,
India back in the day, right? Some of them converted, some of them did not, right?
या,
And my line was exactly this. My subject of the email was more than just an editor,
हाँ,
right? And I had just 3 pointers there, and I was like, hey, you know what? The problem I'll solve for you is I take care of all the creative process,
हुँ,
right? So you don't have to drain your creative energy into handling edits, changing the music,
हुँ,
etc., etc.
हुँ,
And you can focus on sole thing that is growing your business,
हुँ,
aka your blog, your channel.
हुँ,
You know,
या,
that is it. And right now that I'm working on a new social media app. We're
हुँ,
launching in about a month,
हुँ,
right? So I'm a co-founder, right? I
या,
joined him, and
हुँ,
now I'm working with him on the app, right?
हुँ,
So it's the same skill set that has transferred
हुँ,
looking back, which is understanding a founder's vision
हुँ,
exactly and executing it.
हुँ,
The creative business and the world of entrepreneurship is the same. It's such a
ओके,
uncanny parallel. Okay? Because it's like as a creator, you're married to your channel, right?
हुँ,
Every piece of content you go hard on, if it doesn't do well, it breaks your heart a little bit, right? Same as the founder, right?
या,
If you have a product, a brand, a bottle, right, whatever it is, or a social media app, right?
हुँ,
If it doesn't do well, right,
हुँ,
your heart breaks.
या,
You invested with your soul
हुँ,
in it,
हुँ,
right? It's the same. Both these parties are obsessed with consumer behavior. What do consumers want? What do consumers want?
हुँ,
क्या चल रहा है ट्रेंड?
हुँ,
ठीक है, उनको क्या देखना है, हमें क्या देना है,
हुँ,
it's the same, right? So my skill set at both these things,
हुँ,
the tech startup that I'm working at right now versus the creator, all the other creators and agency I've worked with before, is sit with them,
हुँ,
understand what their vision is,
हुँ,
right, and then execute it.
हुँ,
Simple.
हुँ.
And then yeah, that is it.
तो मतलब
तो
आपने,
ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो विजन है ना.
हुँ,
हाँ,
मतलब आपने जैसे
हाँ,
कभी
हाँ.
ये नहीं सोचा कि मैं एक अपनी क्रिएटिव एजेंसी खोलूँगी, वर्किंग विद ऑल द इन्फ्लुएंसर्स?
Yeah, it was too late when I wanted to open my own agency.
हुँ,
Okay, it
हुँ,
was a result of not that, oh, agency business are
हुँ,
cool and everything,
हुँ,
right? Maybe it was
या,
initially, right? But eventually I evolved into the space that I wanted to open an agency because having worked with so many of them, I saw so many broken parts.
Hmm.
I saw so many broken processes,
Hmm.
right? In fact, not even broken. Sometimes they were just non-existent.
Hmm.
For example, this, right? One intern who is paid 6,000 rupees a month
Hmm.
salary is working 5 hours writing the scripts for the
Hmm.
YouTubers or the influencers, right? Speaking to the brands, getting in touch with the production people, right? Getting the
Hmm.
scripts done, everything, right?
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, that process is so broken and so
Hmm.
inefficient,
Yeah.
right? So I know exactly when I open my own agency,
Hmm.
I have these processes set.
Hmm.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I was also learning, na? Like, so I started making films initially. Then I started working with ad agencies.
Hmm.
मैं गया ad agencies के पास and hey, you know what? I know how to edit videos, so I'll make
Hmm.
videos for your client, but you teach me marketing instead.
Hmm.
So they taught me what content strategy is, what content marketing is, digital marketing,
Hmm.
etc., etc. Right? So then, okay, influencer marketing is booming right now in India.
Hmm.
Okay, and I want a piece of that learning as well. So I went, I worked with all these agencies, right? So I have kind of literally gone from like one subset of the industry to the other, to the other, to the other as the media world evolved,
Hmm.
right? तो टाइम नहीं मिला बैठ के कि यार
Ah.
देखने का कि यार ओके यू नो व्हाट आई जस्ट वांट टू फिक्सेट माई सेल्फ ऑन जस्ट फाइंडिंग एन एजेंसी,
Hmm.
राइट? इफ आई probably I won't be working on a tech platform,
Hmm.
a new social media app.
Hmm.
So, but all these skills that I've learned
Hmm.
in hindsight, I had no idea looking forward कि
Ah.
कब काम आएगा
Yeah.
कैसे काम
Yeah.
आएगा,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So yeah, but I'm big on creating that safe space so
Hmm.
people can be people,
Yeah.
you can be you.
Yeah.
That is it.
Hmm.
My job, if I can create a space
Hmm.
where you can be you,
Hmm.
right? That is it.
Hmm.
I have won
Hmm. Yeah.
there. That's it.
So I mean, like you said ना कि कोई एक इंटर्न कर रहा है. So now आप मतलब कोई टेल मी सम थिंग्स जो आपको लगा हो कि यार यूट्यूब में अभी भी इंडियन यूट्यूब कम्युनिटी में अभी भी बहुत गलत हो रही है, जो हमें बाहर से तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है कंटेंट क्रिएशन ये, बट बैक स्टेज पे जो
Hmm.
हो रहा है, जो आपको लग रहा है यार ये अभी भी बहुत आउटडेटेड है यार, ये या तो मतलब
Hmm.
दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट, जो आपको लगा हो.
I see. Okay. Um, I have a theory on this as
हम्म.
well. Because now I've worked with like Western creators
या
here, right?
या
Influencers
या
and everything, right?
या.
I see a huge vision difference,
हम्म.
right?
हम्म.
I'll give you an example of this thing. Okay? Do you know Marcus Brownlee,
हाँ
MKBHD?
हाँ, या टेक गाय,
Right?
द
Okay.
टेक गाय.
So the tech guy,
या.
right? Okay. Uh, he around like 2015, 16, right?
हम्म.
He was not the biggest tech creator. He was
हम्म.
the only tech creator, right?
या.
Unboxing phones,
हम्म.
all these things. Right? He was the only one,
हम्म.
right? And I think he had like millions of followers back then as well, right? Maybe hundreds of thousands. It was huge, right?
हम्म.
Bro, even at that stage, he had the vision.
हम्म.
वो YouTube पे he was working on YouTube, and this is an inside story. I don't think this is out on the internet
हम्म.
yet, right? And this was from somebody in the industry.
हम्म.
Marcus Brownlee saw a guy in the middle of nowhere, I think Mississippi or I think somewhere. I'm
ओके.
not sure what place it was, right?
या.
And that dude went to a film school.
हम्म.
And he just had a passion of creating videos, right?
हम्म.
Very high quality film production style videos on YouTube, but reviewing gadgets,
हम्म.
right? MKBSD was
हम्म.
not just the top tech reviewer, right? He was the only reviewer. He saw that, he's like, yo, 1 second. So he thought two things, right?
हम्म.
One, it's a threat because he saw the production quality and he's like, whoa,
हम्म.
I think this is a threat,
हम्म.
potential threat. If
हम्म.
that guy becomes great, and that guy was getting 10,000 views, 9,000 views, something like that, right?
या.
And after that, so he reached out to him. He's like, hey, do you want to work with me? Right?
या.
And that dude is like, dude, I'm not sure right now.
हाँ.
I'm still at the film school,
हाँ.
right?
या.
And no idea, yeah. I mean,
हम्म.
I'm not sure. I can't commit right now,
हम्म.
right? To MKBHD that time, right? You know what MKBHD did? He
हम्म.
went to his place,
हम्म.
right, every month or every like 2-3 months, and he was like, you know what? I just want to hang out with you.
या.
That's it. कि तू बस मेरे साथ chill कर, ठीक है? Take me through your creative processes, things like that, right?
हम्म.
So they started hanging out for like 6-8 months, and that guy finished his film school,
हम्म.
right? And then he joined MKB as the creative director.
हम्म. ओके.
Now, if you see this guy is the creative director for
हम्म.
MKBHD now, if you see his 5-year-old content,
हम्म.
right, and the frames that are there, okay, this is the frame and the AirPods are kept here, right?
हम्म.
It's the exact frame in MKBHD's videos today,
हम्म. ओके.
right? So my point is the vision of
हम्म.
MKBHD, even if he was the only tech reviewer, not just the top, right, to outsource a team,
हम्म.
right, where the team take care of all the creative process, and then he can focus on bigger things,
Hmm.
is what I think is missing back in India, right?
Hmm.
It's again that, okay, take 10,000 rupees, make me 100 reels,
Ah.
right?
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, I think creators need an in-house team,
Hmm.
right? And they need to be the creative director of their own content.
Hmm.
That is it, right? For example, Komal Pandey has done that,
Hmm.
right? She has never outsourced it like video by video or project by project basis
Okay.
to other freelance editor
Okay.
or like free. She started with that,
Hmm.
but eventually she evolved into having her own in-house production team,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And her content is a visual journey. You can
Hmm.
see the growth
Yeah.
in terms of numbers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also the quality,
Yeah.
right? Because she has entire control of that quality,
Okay.
right? She is the director of her own channel.
Hmm.
It's not one freelancer's eye in one video, and then another editor comes in, he changes the style, and then another editor comes, or he or she changes the style again,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the vision of having an in-house creator team, and again, teams are not made in a day, dude.
Yeah.
It's a guessing game.
Yeah.
It's like there's no formula for that. It's always a guessing game.
Hmm.
You hire somebody, work with them for a while, see if there's a compatibility. Okay, you work with them again, right? You keep on working with them. Or but usually what happens is you hire a few people, right? And you're like, okay, you know what? I think they understand my vision. Then they'll go,
Hmm.
and then you have to do the process.
Yeah.
So it's a very tough process.
So yeah, I think I
Yeah.
can relate this with like you were saying, content creation and entrepreneurship is same. Like you hire guys, you make a team, then they leave, you do the process again, right?
Right. Bro, this is my life's philosophy, in fact, right?
Yeah.
People, even like a lot of motivational speakers right now, right? You hear it quite often, which is find what your passion is. You need to find out what your passion is. Early 20s is all about finding your passion. I agree with that, right?
Okay.
And because I'm not living that approach, I'm
Hmm.
living the opposite of that approach. Is
Okay.
I think more than figuring out what you love doing,
Hmm.
try and figure out who do you want to spend your life with.
Who do you
So
want
more
to?
than in fact, let me rephrase. I think that was kind of slightly inarticulated.
Uh,
More than figuring out what
yeah.
you love doing right now,
Yeah.
I think life is about figuring out who you want to spend your life with, the
Okay.
people you want to surround yourself
Okay.
with,
Yeah.
right? And I think once you figure out the people who you surround yourself with, the former takes care of its own.
Hmm. So it can be vice versa also, right? Like if I enjoy making content, so I'll also enjoy in being the company of content creators, right?
I agree. There's an argument there as well, right? But in my observation, I haven't found a single example
Hmm.
where
Okay.
there were two separate entities. This person loved what he was doing. This person loved what he was doing,
Yeah.
right? And they were still lonely,
Hmm.
right? They were like, no, lonely in terms of either friends or either like a good co-founder, right?
Hmm.
That hey, I think I need. There was this thirst of having one more co-pilot.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean,
I'm not saying. I'm also not saying the other approach is wrong,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
My life ka approach has
huh.
always been okay. You know what? I love working with this person, right?
Hmm.
We have worked for say the last 3 months, and it's great. So once you love working with, there's this professional work-wise compatibility
Hmm.
that you have figured out, which takes time, right? Then you can do anything with them. You can open a merch business with them. You can start an app with them. You can sell fucking pasta sauce with them,
Hmm.
right? You can do anything with them
Yeah,
because you know the compatibility match, right?
yeah,
So that's it. That's why I think like, and this has been the approach of my life, right?
huh.
So it wasn't okay. Prakhar loved what he was doing, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I would definitely want to. I see a good compatibility there,
Hmm.
right? I understand his vision,
Hmm.
and I'm like, yeah, it'll be great.
Hmm.
And then the thing is, both of us, because there was a compatibility in terms of work,
Hmm.
right? We happened to try a new thing which neither he nor I had ever done: vlogs.
Hmm.
I had never made vlogs in my life. Prakhar had never made vlogs in my life.
Yeah.
But because that chemistry of work was so good,
Yeah.
right? We understood each other's vision,
Hmm.
right? You know, like the product is right in front of you
Hmm.
right now. We started with vlogs, we
Yeah.
experimented, right? We took the feedback, we did our homework, everything.
Yeah. No, to be honest, now, talking to now, I'm getting how you guys are compatible together, right? Like I asked, how is it working with Prakhar? So, but now I know how you two are so good with each other. Like we all know Prakhar, his philosophy, and now लिसनिंग टू यू एक को पता चल रहा है कि यार यू नॉट अ सिंपल एडिटर, राइट? कि भाई जिसको वीडियो देते हो, ऐश यार ये मैंने ब्लॉग बनाया है, इसको एक नॉर्मल सिंपल एडिट करके
Right.
भेज दे। बट यू आर नॉट लाइक एक वो सिंपल एडिटर, यू आर आल्सो लाइक क्रिएटिव डायरेक्टर कि हाँ भाई एक पूरी स्पेस होनी चाहिए। एक यूट्यूब
Right.
को भी एक, अब नाउ आई थिंक आई एम गेटिंग व्हाट यू आर ट्राइंग टू से ना, कि यूट्यूब को भी अब एक प्रॉपर उसको तरह हम देखें, कंटेंट की तरह। ये नहीं कि खाली यार एक वीडियो बनाई, एक
Right.
थंबनेल आर्टिस्ट रख लिया मैंने कहीं से भी फ्रीलांसर पकड़ के, और एक आई हायर्ड एडिटर, और एक बस एक वो ट्रेंड
Right.
हॉप करने वाली बात है। या
Right.
नाउ
It's also a vision game now for
हम्म
creators. It's
या
like there's no vision statement,
हम्म
right? I see an absence of a vision statement in creators right now, which is okay, what's the vision?
हम्म
Say for example, Prakhar, right? If I'm
हम्म
working with Prakhar, right,
या
I would join, right? The
हम्म
vision is not, hey, let's put out one vlog every
हम्म
week.
या
That's not a vision,
या
right? The vision, okay, I'm
या
asking myself, Ash, how can you make Prakhar the face of Audible or Spotify
हम्म
by 2025?
या
Okay, so now
या
that I have a vision, I'm like, okay, do vlogs fit that? Do vlogs
हम्म
contribute to that?
हम्म
Right? Yes, no, maybe, whatever, right?
या
Okay, then we should do date, right? So,
हम्म
okay, does date contribute to that vision? Yeah,
हम्म
maybe it amps it up. Okay,
या
what can we do with that?
हम्म
You know, so like this vision of where the creators want to be,
हाँ
right? Once they're clear of that, dude, like once you have a vision and you put it out there,
हम्म
you will find people, they'll come to you and they'll be like, hey, you know what, I believe in it and I want to be a part of that vision. As
ओके
simple
या
as that,
या
right? In
या
fact, you're right. My approach is slightly flawed here. My approach is flawed here in the sense of kiar, even if you love what you do,
हम्म
right, people will you, I think you will find people.
या
For instance, it's like Prakhar loved what he was doing,
हम्म
and then I approached him,
या
and we started working together,
हम्म
right? And we say we started doing vlogs, right? And
या
then a lot of people approached me in my DMs, right?
हम्म
They're like, "Hey, you know what? We saw the vlogs, and we loved the style." A
हम्म
lot of people, and those kids are still with me right now, right? Because we have been working on so many
हम्म
projects. We do our homeworks and everything. Right? I've
हम्म
been kind of training them, mentoring them, giving them direction,
हम्म
right? Bro, this person, he approached me. He's like, hey, you know what? Can I just shadow you while you're editing a vlog?
हाँ या
Can I just shadow you while
या
you're editing Prakhar's next vlog, right? So
या
you're
आई
right, I think, in
अंडरस्टैंड
that sense that
या
because I learned what I was doing and people saw that Ash loves what he's doing,
हम्म
right, with another person, I want to buy into that vision as well.
हम्म
Right? Imagine how ridiculous that is. Somebody telling me, hey, can I just shadow you?
या
I'll just sit there, see your process.
हम्म no I
Right? So I
yeah,
think,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think you're right there.
No, I mean philosophies are, I think I've always think that philosophies change with ages. Like the more we learn, our philosophies are changing, right?
Correct.
So I mean यार वैसे एक आप तो जैसे आप न्यूयॉर्क पे हो, मेरे को न्यूयॉर्क मतलब न्यूयॉर्क
Yeah.
कैसे चुना आपने कि आई वांट टू स्टडी देयर ओनली?
Okay, yeah, okay. This is again my approach. Yeah, my approaches are slightly unorthodox, which
हाँ
is what I have realized lately, and people around me have also told me
हम्म
this, right? Yeah, I never came here for the school,
हम्म
right? I was in a boarding school in Dehradun for 5 years, well and
ओके
boys,
ओके
and then I went to Mumbai,
हम्म
right? And now I'm here, in New York,
हम्म
right? I've never chosen a university.
हम्म
I've always chosen the city I want to go to,
हम्म
right? I'm like, okay, I want to make films, right? So
हम्म
should I go to Mumbai or Delhi? That makes sense because I want to say make films,
हाँ
right?
हाँ
So I want to go to
या
Mumbai, no matter what school,
हम्म
good, bad, ugly, right?
हाँ
It doesn't matter because I know if I'm in that city, I'll extract
या
the shit out of that
या
city,
या 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 या
right? And that is what I did, right?
हम्म
So when I went to Mumbai, right, I never went for my classes.
हम्म
I would go for say one or two classes
हाँ
every week or something like that, right? And the rest of the time I would be working
हाँ
ad agency to the other, from one film set to the other, you know. So I would just be working because I know now I'm in the city, right?
हम्म
So that's how I also chose New York, right? I
हाँ
was like, I don't care what school it is, right? Give me the cheapest school possible, right? And I hope there's no attendance issues there, no
या
compulsion of like attendance, 80% attendance and
हाँ
all of that, right? That's it. I'll go to classes, I'll study,
हाँ
right? A little bit, say just like 20% of it, but the rest 80%, I'll be in the city,
हम्म
meet 20 different people, right? See what is happening,
हम्म
how the culture here works
या
out, right? What is the working culture here?
हाँ
What is the vision of companies here?
हाँ
How is it different from the country I come from?
या
Right?
या
Because also, yeah, it also depends. Say, for example, I think the same approach that I'm taking right now will not work in, say, a finance school,
Mm.
right? Say if you want to do a finance school,
Yeah.
right, or a medical course, right?
Mm.
No, for in medical schools and finance, you have to go to
Yeah.
colleges, right? Here, I am in a media school. The media world is evolving so rapidly every day, right?
Mm.
So I wanted to be a director 2 years ago, right?
Mm.
But the term creative director, right? What it meant 2 years ago
Mm.
did not mean the same thing a year ago. It
Mm.
doesn't mean the same. It didn't mean the same 2 months ago. It doesn't mean the same today.
Mm.
So the titles are also evolving,
Mm.
right? So I'm like, yeah, for a professor to teach me that at
Mm.
my school,
Mm.
they will have to come to
Ah.
that what is happening in the media industry, what new things are coming,
Mm.
study it, make a curriculum, and then come and teach it to us in the class,
Yeah.
right? For example, like say NFTs have been around for so
Mm.
long, right?
Mm.
I'm in one of the best design schools of the world.
Mm.
There was not a single class on how to even create NFTs. Forget
Mm.
about trading and all of that, right? How to trade NFTs, buy it, things like that. No, 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 right? At least tell me what's the difference between an NFT and a JPEG or a
Mm.
PNG,
Mm.
right? No, and I'm not blaming them because, dude, it's evolving so fast.
Mm. Yeah.
It's practically impossible for them to learn it quickly and give it to the students.
Mm. Yeah.
It's an institution, things move slowly there, right?
Yeah.
And when when I would come to the cities and I would not go to classes, the reason I was not going to classes was I was learning so much more from the outside world,
Mm. Yeah.
right? So that one thing filled the other.
Mm.
It wasn't a strict assumption that class con jayega, it's useless. No, 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 not on
Mm-hmm.
day one,
Yeah.
right? I started working and I'm like, one sec, when I go to class and spend 2 hours there, this happens.
Mm.
And when I go and work for 2 hours, I'm learning this.
Mm.
So why not do this
Yeah.
slightly more?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
it has to be a balance, right?
Yeah. No. Like you said earlier, also the film industry is also, and the media industry is changing so much. Like we don't go to cinemas, or that the old things, and we are watching all the cinemas on YouTube or on our phones,
Hmm.
and the filmmaking is solely based on the old generation things, and that I
Right.
agree. Yeah. जैसे
Hmm.
like you said about the न्यूयॉर्क थिंग, न्यूयॉर्क यार मेरे को खुद जब दिमाग में आता है ना वही हसल वसल वाला कल्चर, एंड एवरीवन इज जस्ट इन दिस जोन. सो हाउ वाज इट फॉर यू
Right.
न्यूयॉर्क? वहाँ के लोग कैसा था, मतलब वो एक्सपीरियंस?
Okay, dude. I have spent 10 years away from family
या.
right now, right?
या.
Because 5 years I was in a boarding school, then
हाँ.
5 years I was in Mumbai,
हाँ.
right? And then COVID happened, so I had to go back home,
हम्म.
right? So I thought, यार, इतने साल मैं बाहर रहा
हम्म.
हूँ खुद से,
हम्म.
ठीक है? And I have lived my life,
हम्म.
ठीक है, by myself independently,
हम्म.
right? खुद काम खुद करना,
हाँ.
arranging for all of that.
या.
I'm like, okay, New York will be a cakewalk. It's just another
इट्स
territory that
जस्ट या
I'm
या
going to
या
now.
या.
ठीक है, अडेप्ट हो
हाँ.
जाएंगे यार,
हाँ.
खामोश,
हाँ.
1 महीना लगेगा ज़्यादा से,
हाँ.
ठीक है?
दैट
Bro,
इंडियन कॉन्फिडेंस.
it took me 1 year
ओके.
to settle down here, finally, mentally.
हम्म.
Bro, the city is fast as fuck.
हाँ.
It's it's New York is running at the speed of 8x to 10x of every other city.
हाँ.
Like you will know, it's like and I was talking to Prakhar also this
हाँ.
thing. I'm like the best way to describe New York
हम्म.
is to compare it to. So when
या.
you go to LA,
या.
right? I've been to LA so many times now,
ओके.
right? For work and to chill, right?
या.
When you go to
चिल.
LA and you go to a cafe, right?
हाँ.
Bro, people are actually drinking coffees and having a conversation face to face in LA.
हम्म.
You go to a cafe in New York, people are on their laptops,
हाँ.
right? So you can see that pace also, right?
हम्म.
In LA, there's one big party that happens, say, once every week or
हम्म.
once every 2 weeks,
हम्म.
right?
हम्म.
New York, every day there are like fucking 10 events.
हाँ.
There's a speech happening here, there's a venture capital event happening there, there's a media school, something
हाँ.
event happening there, there's a concert happening at Central Park. Every day there are like 8 to 10 events happening.
हाँ.
Like that is the speed at which it's moving, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it took me 1 year, one full year, even having stayed away from family
Yeah.
all by myself
Hmm.
for 10 years. I thought it would be a cakewalk, but it
Hmm.
wasn't.
And the contrast is also great, right? You
Um,
you guys are working 10 hours and then partying also, doing everything, right?
right. It's also what happens is I think the most challenging variable is the social life. That's
Hmm.
it. Because
Yeah.
if I give you homework to do, you will do it. You'll take your time for that. Maybe
Hmm.
you'll be stressed out about it a little bit.
Hmm.
Do it. If I give you work assignment to do, you will do it.
Hmm.
काम भी हो जाएगा, पढ़ाई भी हो जाएगी, ठीक है.
Hmm.
But after that, what happens is because the speed is so fast, you
हाँ.
don't get a single second to spend with yourself.
Hmm.
Sit down with yourself and be like, okay, talk to yourself and reflect on how your week went or your day went or your month went,
Hmm.
right? So many things happened, so many things have happened so quickly. एक
Hmm.
सेमेस्टर भी खत्म हो गया, थोड़े बहुत दोस्त भी बन गए, 4 पार्टीज भी चले गए.
Yeah.
You went on like 10 days also, right?
Yeah.
And you never had the time to sit down and process it,
हाँ.
right?
हाँ.
So what happens is then, because of also the time difference, you also have to like keep in touch with your friends,
Hmm.
right, and family back in India,
Hmm.
right? तो weekend आता है, you're like चलो अब थोड़ा free time मिला है, no school no work
Hmm.
this weekend, right?
Yeah.
तो यार एक दिन you're like, okay, I just want to be with myself, probably watch some Netflix, sleep
Hmm.
and eat, that's it,
Hmm.
right? I don't
Yeah.
want to see the mirrors anymore, the phone screens,
Yeah.
you know. But that's also important again, right? Because weekends आता है, friends बुला लेते हैं, and then you go and party, which is also important,
हाँ.
right?
यार
I
न्यूयॉर्क में
think
पार्टी तो
in
फिर
the
बनती है.
bro, like it sounds fancy and all, right? But
Yeah.
after a while, when so many things are happening at the same time, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, shit. Like, so in the trigonometry of social life, sleep, and work,
हाँ.
right? It's like you can't get all three of them,
Yeah.
right? You have to compromise one. Social life कर लिया, काम या पढ़ाई कर ली, तो sleep affected है.
Hmm.
सो जाओ और काम पढ़ाई कर लो, तो social life affected है,
Hmm.
right? Social life, and if you sleep, when
Hmm.
तो पढ़ाई कब करोगे, काम कब
Yeah.
करोगे, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's that paradox, but
Hmm.
that's the beauty of it. मिल जाता है time, you know?
So, like you said that for past 10 years you are away from your family, and India में that we are that culture and that relation thing with your parents. I have seen it students.
Yeah.
This is a one big problem that they want to go study out, but they don't want to leave their parents. And so, I
Hmm.
mean, how does that thing work according to you? Like if you want to go out and
As
but then your parents are lonely here. I mean, how does that thing work?
yeah, it's a sacrifice.
Hmm.
It's a sacrifice for a potential betterment.
Yeah.
Otherwise क्या है, like what is the opposite of that,
Hmm.
right? uh, it was difficult for me because like I was like, okay यार, एक boarding school चले गए,
Hmm.
ठीक है, आ जाओ अब घर पे,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then when I went there, I saw see more potential there,
Hmm.
right? I'm like, no, I think I need to go to a tier 1 city now,
Hmm.
right? I come from Mandsaur, uh, which is a very 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 small town, right, in
Hmm.
Madhya Pradesh. And I'm like, okay, let's go to Mumbai now,
Hmm.
okay, because I'm going to do something else, I'm going to try
Hmm.
something else. So I went there, and then I was like, okay,
Hmm.
now what?
Hmm.
And then I was like, dude, I think the next step is New York
Hmm.
now, right?
Hmm.
So how do we go about that? Things like that. So it's the it is a sacrifice for the betterment. Yeah, it differs from people. I don't know. I mean,
No. Yeah.
I can look back and tell you a few things, right?
Hmm.
But if you are in the same spot,
Hmm.
an 18-year-old right now who wants to say, move away from family for work or study or both,
Hmm.
right? I don't know how it'll look like,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? And I think it comes to you if
Yeah.
the potential that you see, right, is way more than what it will be if you just stay in your hometown,
Hmm.
right, in terms of resources, exposure,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It'll come to you. You'll be like, yeah, I think I should go now. I
Hmm.
think I should do it right now.
Yeah.
So that way. I think the other challenge there is to also uh, make your parents understand,
Hmm.
right, what this sacrifice is going to mean,
Hmm.
right? So that was a lot from my end as well, right? I went to a boarding school, and then my dad was like, okay, come home now, right? And I was like, dad, okay, let me try Bombay now,
Hmm.
okay? Went to Bombay, they're like, okay, come home now. And I'm like, okay, dad, let me try New York,
Hmm.
right? And he's like, okay. Uh, and dad's like, okay, now come home,
Hmm.
something like that. So I understand it's like this constant conflict or battle, that you're like, okay, thoda aur kare push ki chale jaye ghar,
Hmm.
you know. And it's like, it's totally situational. If I didn't see any potential here, if I wasn't working on what I'm doing right now, right,
Yeah.
I would have gone home,
Yeah.
and also it's like, when your parents say, even understand that, okay, you know what, you should go out,
Hmm.
right, and they understand the sacrifice, right, of staying away from you, right, and you staying away from them, right. I think just acknowledge that again, right, again, 80 create an 80 create 80% of job is to create a safe space for your parents as
Yeah.
well, right, while you're away from them,
Yeah.
right. So it's like, uh, I literally called up my dad,
Hmm.
right, and I told him, thank you, right? I was very grateful to him, and I'm like, plain simple thank you. And he's
Hmm.
like, what? It's weird, right?
Yeah, yeah,
From
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
son to father,
yeah,
son to mother
yeah.
chalta hai, right?
हाँ,
But son to father is slightly dicey there, right? बहुत weird लगता है to
हाँ,
express emotions to your dad, right? But I was like, dad, one second, my dad studied till like 5th grade, right?
okay.
तो वो 5वीं class तक पढ़ा,
Hmm.
and I am literally the next generation from
हाँ,
him, right?
hmm,
And the generation gap is, and I told him, right, dad, even when you studied, like you studied till like grade 5, right? And I, your son, is right next generation to
hmm,
you, right? So I have gone to one of the best boarding schools of India,
hmm,
then went to one of the best cities of India, studied in one of the best colleges of India, right? Now I'm in one of the fastest growing best cities of the
hmm,
world, studying in one of the best media schools of the world,
hmm,
right? And I was like, dude, if I'm not grateful for that, what?
hmm. Yeah.
So like my dad studied till 5th grade, and like the gap, okay, you can like historically see this gap between generations, 1, 2, or 3 generations, right?
Hmm.
But I'm literally the next generation,
Yeah.
right? So for my dad to understand this thing, or even like pretend to understand this thing,
Hmm.
that okay, you want to do this, go, right? And
Yeah.
it did not come up easy, right? Of course, I had to be a rebel, I had to
Hmm.
fight all of those things, right? I had no idea what I was doing. There was confusion also on my end, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, but one very recently I called him up and I told him thank you.
नहीं, I completely understand this thing. As a son to father, if you're talking about emotions, is talking about your emotions, I think is a very big step. Like you said, saying a simple thank you, please, and mm, is it is a very big thing for boys, right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
Dude, I mean, also this is something that I learned from Prakhar as well, right?
हाँ,
It's like the place that your parents are coming from more often than not is a place of concern, right?
हाँ,
कि
yeah,
यार तू सही तो कर रहा है ना, सब कुछ
yeah,
चीजें हो जाएगा ना, like you'll be settled down, right? Things like that, right?
yeah,
And what we do is, यार you won't understand, यार. And I understand it's difficult to make your parents understand. Like imagine my spot, right? When I was in
yeah,
Mumbai, hey, क्या काम करता है तू? That I make videos for Instagram.
yeah,
So bizarre, right? It would be so unfair
yeah,
on my dad's end for
yeah,
me to tell him that you won't understand, right? Because मैं कैसे बताऊं, मैं Instagram के लिए videos बनाता हूँ, dad,
yeah,
right? It's so bizarre, right?
yeah.
So it's like to be like being a rebel in that
Hmm,
sense. It doesn't, right? So, and then I was talking to Prakhar also, and
hmm,
then he gave me a great direction there, right? And
hmm,
then I spoke to my parents. I'm like, dad,
hmm,
mom, I understand what your concern is, right? In fact, I share the same concern, right? I'm also scared here, right? But I would really regret not giving it a shot.
hmm, yeah,
So just stand behind me
हाँ,
and tell me, Ash, go ahead,
yeah,
take risks in life,
yeah,
right? We are behind you.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
And they also felt super good about that, right? So
yeah.
like they had a concern, right? I was like, hey, you know what? I share the same concern
Hmm,
as you,
hmm,
right? They're like, wow, okay, he speaks the same language,
hmm.
right? It's again Gen Z's, boomers,
Yeah.
right?
No, I completely, I understand because I'm also going through this phase only right now. And like, if you empathize, if you really understand what your parents' concern are, the thing is that the things they have seen, and
Yeah.
starting from nothing, starting from nowhere, and now what they want from for the children is just to have a risk-free life, just to have a safe life. You where you are
Right.
earning, comfortably and living comfortably. But I think it comes to what you want from your life, right? If you want, if
Right.
it comes to your dreams. If you are not happy, then it doesn't matter, right?
Right. आ जाता
Yeah.
है ब्रो, अंदर से आ जाता
Ha,
है, and
ha,
you will be
ha.
able to do it. You'll be able to sail through it.
Yeah.
It'll come,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
No,
you.
I understand that. Sahi hai. So, like, what were your early days in New York? I mean, जब आए थे, that we talked earlier also. You said कि वो loneliness वाला phase था
Yeah.
and mental health वाला.
Okay, I'll tell you. Yeah. Okay. Let me address this loneliness question once and for all. Okay.
Yeah.
All you need is
Ha,
two solid friends,
ha,
right, in your life.
ha,
That's it. Two solid friends that you have, your
ha,
loneliness ka, all most of your loneliness ka concern is gone,
ha.
right? Because you know, okay, you will stay in different cities, you will go out in the world, work, you won't be able to talk to your friends, like those two solid people, two homies is
Hmm.
what you need,
Hmm.
that's it,
Hmm.
right? नहीं होगी बात 2 महीने, ठीक है, but like एक महीने में एक बार
Yeah.
बात करोगे, right?
Yeah.
It will just strengthen the bond again,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Finding those two homies, right? Because relationships, yeah, the only variable of relationships is time. That's it. You need to give it time.
Hmm.
You need to see good days and bad days of that person. The relationship will like become stronger together
Yeah.
automatically, right?
Hmm.
You guys need to fight. You guys need to disagree on a few
Hmm.
things,
Hmm.
agree on a few things, have great times, challenging times,
Hmm.
everything,
Yeah.
right? So all you need is to, if you know you have two homies,
Hmm.
right? That's it. फिर आगे कुछ नहीं होगा. Then you can be you,
Yeah.
right? It's again, you are feeling safe,
Safe. Yeah.
right? So if you come to talk and you're like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I I am me, like whoever I am, I'm gonna
Hmm.
behave as that,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I'm confident, right?
Hmm.
Because the fear is, yeah, if I'm not nice to this person,
Hmm.
right? What if they think I'm an asshole and वो मेरे साथ दोस्ती नहीं करना चाहेंगे,
Ah.
ठीक है? But if you have two solid homies, you
Hmm.
know, no matter what you,
Hmm.
right? You guys are strong. You guys are tight
Yeah.
together, right?
Yeah.
You can conquer the world, bro. That's superpower.
Hmm. Yeah.
That is it. Don't think about having like 100 friends and everything. You can,
Yeah.
of course, right? But um, the variable of relationships is time, yeah, and you
Ah.
need to give it time,
Ah.
right? कल the problem is कि यार मैं आज lonely हूँ और मुझे कल दोस्त चाहिए.
Hmm.
नहीं होता यार. कल तुझे दोस्त मिल जाएंगे, ठीक है, but
Ah.
what is the quality of that bond, right? Because
Ah. Ah.
they haven't seen you at your bad times, and you haven't seen them at their bad times,
Yeah. No, I think this
right?
happens with
That is
all
it.
of us. Yeah. When we were in school, we used to have, 10, 15 friends. Like I remember when I was 17, when we used to go a friend's birthday party, we were like 15 of boys, and I was like, oh man, what we are doing? Is this a birthday party or something else? And now, fast forward to when you were 21, 22. I mean, you don't have enough time, and you have only those one or two friends, and uh, you know, you share your insecurities on you are vulnerable with them. कि मैं उसके साथ
Right,
में जाके रो सकता हूँ. मेरे को I remember usually, we that males have a problem of not able to express their emotions or crying, and I also,
right,
to some extent, I also have that. And when I cried in front of my friend, and वो मुझे यही कहता है यार, you know these were these things are what friends तो कि वो हम यार खाली गेड़ी मारने के लिए नहीं है भाई. प्रथम, तू तू उस समय मेरे सामने रोया, मेरे को बड़े लगा कि हाँ भाई ये मेरे को ट्रस्ट करता
that's
है,
sweet.
ये मेरे सामने
Yeah,
रोया. एंड और मैं सच्ची में रो भी उसके सामने इसलिए
right,
पाया क्योंकि मुझे पता भाई एक वो मेरी सेफ स्पेस है. आई कैन टेल कि भाई मेरे को
right,
सही नहीं लग रहा. एंड आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल दैट आई हैव those two homies.
right. That's it. Once you have those two homies,
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah,
matter
yeah, yeah,
what part of the world you're in for whatever long
yeah.
period of time, whatever you're doing,
uh,
right? These homies are there for you.
yeah.
That's it. And of
Mm,
course, I'm not saying don't make any more homies,
yeah.
right? Homies का circle बड़ा बनता जाएगा,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
But the anxiety of
uh,
loneliness and everything comes from ki shit, yaar,
uh,
what if I won't find friends and
uh,
things like that, right? So it's crazy,
mm,
like that. But it's also legit. I understand,
yeah.
right, what it is, right? But yeah.
So I mean, like when you are if
Oh,
when you're
you asked me what were my first few days. What did my
uh,
first
uh,
few days look
few
like
days
here
and
in
the
New York, right?
wildest experience in New York. I mean, I really need to know that the wildest experience. It can be anything related to dating or anything. The wildest experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the first 2 months of me coming to the city
Hmm.
was I would literally go to our campus ka cafeteria
Hmm.
every day,
Uh,
right? I would just sit there, go there by say 11, 11:30 in the morning, right? And I've come back by like 6, 7, right?
yeah.
I would go there and I would grab a chair or I would sit right by the entrance and whoever would enter, I would be like, I would say hi and bye to
Uh,
that person. I was like, hi, bye, nice earrings. I like your jacket. Oh, that's your aesthetic. I love that. You know? What's
yeah.
your name? Oh, Ash. Nice to meet you. Are you from the fashion school? Yeah, because you're carrying yourself like that. Fantastic, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just do that. It's tough. It's like it's that, right? Sometimes I would like do this thing, like I would open my notes and I would have like a checklist, like I would write numbers from 1 to 10. I'm like, dude, I'm not going home unless I cross
Uh,
all, like I approach people,
yeah.
right, 10 times in a row, things like that. That's it.
Yeah. And एक वो वाला फैक्टर भी आता है ना, like you are in a new country and you somewhat get to start from you reset that story, right? Like Ash in India can be
Yeah.
an introvert, doesn't talk to anyone, and when he comes to New York, he's saying hi to everyone, bye to everyone, complimenting them, right?
Yeah.
It also, that
Yeah.
factor is there, right? Yeah.
Right. Right. It's a growth process. It's
Ah,
like for a little bit of time you're in your uncomfortable zone ish
yeah.
thing, right? And then, bro, it's like just be present in wherever you
Ah,
are right now. I'm speaking to you, so I can literally digest every word that
yeah.
you are saying to me right now, right?
Mm,
And I'm literally here, right, with
yeah.
you. So be present and observe everything
Mm,
that is happening, right?
mm,
ठीक
yeah.
है तो like say if you're walking by the cafeteria and somebody just like slips their coffee और उनका
Mm,
coffee का glass नीचे गिर गया,
mm,
right? Be so much present, right? Or equip yourself to be so much present
mm,
that you acknowledge that again,
mm,
right? Be present to acknowledge everything that's happening around you,
mm,
and bro, you'll have a great social life.
yeah.
You'll be charming,
Yeah.
right? It's like किसका ग्लास गिर गया, right? What
Mm,
are the first thoughts that come to your mind?
mm,
यार मैं करूँ कि नहीं करूँ, मैं करूँ कि
yeah.
तो कोई लोग क्या सोचेंगे,
Ha
यार
ha
shit,
ha.
ये थोड़ा सा weird लगेगा, creepy तो
Ha
नहीं लगेगा, la 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 la
ha
la, right?
ha.
But if you're present in that moment, your first instinct
Yeah.
will reflex like,
Yeah.
I'll help you out,
Yeah.
right? And then while if you're so if you practice this, like because I
Mm,
practice it so much,
mm,
right? So when say किसी का coffee का glass
mm,
गिरा, ठीक है? So that's
yeah.
first reflex, right?
Mm,
And in the moment where we are literally getting up,
mm,
right? If I look into her eyes, I would also give her a compliment, right? When we are
yeah.
there, like,
Yeah.
yo, you got beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
समझ रहे हैं? Because
Ha
you're
ha.
so much present in that moment.
Ha.
So observe, be present, and acknowledge everything.
Yeah.
Right? How many times do we meet people and like meet our friends also on a
Mm,
daily basis because life has become so monotonous? We tell them, yo, that's a nice shirt.
yeah.
Nobody does that even more.
Yeah.
Or if a friend has shaved, bro, like we have become so numb to the monotonousness of our lives
Mm,
that if, and girls would relate to this thing, right? If a girl gets a haircut, guys don't even realize that they got a
mm,
haircut, right? And girls usually be like, hey, do you not notice anything new,
yeah.
right? And you're like, no. And like, dude, I got a haircut. And uske baad bhi, because we are so absent,
Yeah.
just practice being present and being present to acknowledge stuff
Mm,
that is happening around you.
mm,
That's it,
mm.
right?
And just tell me one thing. When we are
Wildest.
ना ना
हाँ.
वाइल्डेस्ट पे आते हैं. एक
Okay.
लाइक व्हेन यू आर शिफ्टिंग टू न्यूयॉर्क, तब एक माइंड में आ रहा होगा, भाई मैं वहां पे जाके फोड़ूंगा. सबसे पहले तो एक
Hmm.
वाइट गर्लफ्रेंड होगी. आई गो, और ये सब रहता है ना कि भाई मैं ही होऊंगा जो होऊंगा. तो मतलब अलग हुआ था क्या? यू वर लाइक, ओ मैन, ये भाई बहुत चेंज हो गया, ये वैसा वाला सीन नहीं
नहीं यार, I mean, my approach is like go there again, be present, acknowledge stuff,
है.
and
हाँ.
then adapt to
हाँ.
it, right?
हम्म.
Because I understand यार, movies में हम देखते
हाँ, मूवीज.
हैं,
या.
movies में हम ये देखते हैं, real life is this,
या.
right? And
या.
so many other variables
हम्म.
there, right? Things, a lot of things happen exactly like how we see them in movies,
हम्म.
right? Things like that.
हम्म.
So no, dude, like no preconceived notions of
हम्म.
what the city will be like,
हम्म.
things like that.
हम्म.
Uh, Nothing like that. It's just
हम्म.
like go there, observe what is happening, and then adapt, and then live life.
Yeah, I think the
Simple.
real fun is
क्या?
in that thing only. If you don't have any presumptions or preconceived notions about anything, and when you go, then everything is fun, everything is new, you can enjoy it. वरना एक वो expectation set हो
Right.
जाती है ना, right? Like if you are going to New York and मेरे अगर मैं जा रहा हूँ न्यूयॉर्क, तो मेरे अगर मैं एक expectation ही करके जा रहा हूँ, so but I don't
Right.
know वहाँ पे क्या होगा, and right.
यार ऐसे ना पूरी लाइफ एनालिसिस
हाँ.
करने में निकल
Yeah,
जाएगी,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
एनालाइज
yeah.
करते हुए रह जाओगे, और लाइफ जीवन जियोगे कब यार?
हाँ.
ठीक है, जियो, मेक मिस्टेक्स, बी
Yeah.
प्रेजेंट,
Yeah.
acknowledge stuff,
Yeah.
make mistakes again, ठीक है,
Yeah.
and live life. That's it.
Yeah.
जिंदगी जियो. That's it.
Yeah. The Gen Z
Okay, I'll
motto.
tell you my wildest experience. Gen Z motto, yeah. Right. Okay, I'll tell you my wildest
Yeah,
experience
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
far. I had always heard that getting an internship
Mm,
is one of the most difficult things to do in New York, right? The
mm,
competition is cut fucking throat.
mm,
Okay, very difficult to do, right?
mm,
तो मेरा एक साल खत्म हुआ, right? And I
mm,
was like, okay, summers आया first
mm,
in New York, and I was like, okay, apply for an internship, right?
mm,
And I was applying and everything, right? And I was like, यार, these are companies, अगर यहाँ मिल गई internship तो it's great, but
mm,
there were two companies that I really wanted to work with, right?
mm,
And by what I mean by that is I knew that if I go there, I know exactly what I'll contribute,
mm,
and how will how will I add value to that,
mm,
right? It was not just another stamp on my resume or name on my resume,
mm,
right? So one company, right?
mm,
I had written to them, Instagram पे लिखा मैंने,
mm,
and I've been following them for the last 3 years before
mm,
I came to New York, right?
mm,
And मैं उनको follow करते जा रहा था. I've been seeing their work, and I'm like, dude, there is something here. I would love to work with this company, right? So I wrote to them on Instagram, LinkedIn पे भी लिखा, email भी लिखा, सब कुछ लिखा, no response, nothing from their end, right?
Yeah.
And by that time, na, I had started to hate weekends because I was in the middle of my application process for internships, right? And जैसे weekends आता तो nobody works here on weekends, nobody checks
Okay.
emails. So I'm like, मुझे वेट करना पड़ेगा फिर मंडे
हाँ.
तक, आज फ्राइडे हो गया,
हाँ.
ठीक है. एंड द थिंग इज फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे वीकेंड पे जो पार्टीज होती है, आई एम नॉट इवन मेंटली देयर बिकॉज आई एम लाइक यार आई एम नथिंग टू
Yeah.
काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग, राइट? एंड आई वाज लाइक यार आई हैवंट हर्ड एनीथिंग फ्रॉम देम. So one day I wake up and it's a Friday. I'm like, फिर से weekend आ रहा है यार. I I just I won't be able to go through this weekend, right? Unless I hear something from this particular company I want to work with so badly, right? मैं Friday morning उठा, I'm like, okay, this is the last working day of this week, right? मैंने गूगल किया उनका एड्रेस, उनका ऑफिस था डाउनटाउन में. I literally showed up their office. I showed up at their office.
Okay.
ठीक है. Now it's a WeWork building, okay?
Yeah.
उसमें क्या होता है उनका
Yeah, I
office
understand.
was
Yeah.
on the 20, right? So you have to pass the reception, right? Because you go to the reception and they take a key card or something like that, right? A
Okay.
guest check-in.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to get inside the building into the elevators to the office, right? So मैं गया reception पे, I'm like, this company's office, and they're like, okay, do you have an appointment? I'm like, yeah. ठीक है. They're like, who do you have an appointment with? I'm like, with Hannah.
Okay.
ठीक है, randomly. I checked on LinkedIn, देख सकते हो ना, people work there, right?
Yeah.
So she looked up the database, she's like, yeah, Hannah works there, right? So she generated a ticket for me, gave it to me, right?
Okay.
मैं ऊपर गया, my heart is pounding,
Yeah.
right? I'm nervous as fuck there, right? I'm like, shit, क्या करूँ मैं, ठीक है? Elevator में गया, मैं ऊपर गया, and then every floor has a cafeteria, and then there are like cubicles and offices there, right? So I entered the cafeteria, और आई एम जस्ट लाइक लुकिंग एट फेसेस, स्कैनिंग पीपल्स फेसेस कि यार किससे बात कर सकता हूँ, क्या बोलूँगा, आ तो गया हूँ मैं, बट क्या बोलूँगा मैं, ठीक है. एंड so I entered the cafeteria. There's this dude sitting there with a hoodie and shorts and sneakers, like super cool, right?
Yeah.
And मेरा eye contact, I nodded good morning like this. He also nodded morning.
Yeah.
He's like, are you here for the company's name?
Okay.
ठीक है. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, who are you here for? I'm like, see bro, here's the thing. There's no Hannah, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry to barge into the office like that, but I have been following you guys for so long and I would love to work with you guys, right? In fact, here are my skill sets, right? And I've been following you guys for so long that I know exactly what my ideas there are, what I would love to do with you, right? Very specifically, right?
Yeah.
So I showed him he heard me nicely for 20 minutes. And then he's like, okay, Ash, I have a meeting to go to. Take my email. This is @companyemail.com,
Yeah.
right? And okay, whatever you just told me.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure. And I'm like, what do you do here? Just out of curiosity, right? He's like,
Okay.
I'm the founder.
Okay.
And I was like, because like founders are so
Yeah.
inaccessible.
Yeah.
You would never expect a founder to be in the office, like, and you barge into them, right? And I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry to barge into the office like that, right? I've been following you guys for so long, and I'm super confident that I can contribute, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, how old are you again? I'm like 23. And he's
Yeah.
like, yo, you got guts. So he's also an entrepreneur. He understands
Yeah.
that, right? So bus, I went down, went to a cafe, turant laptop khola, connected to the Wi-Fi, wrote him the email, right? And yeah, heard back from them and got the internship.
Oh, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So that is one of the wildest things that I've ever done. I hadn't expected myself to do that. But yeah, like if you see a pattern, that has been the pattern of my life. If I get frustrated with something, right, in terms of processes or systems, right? Like I was in an agency and I was like, yeah, kya ho raha hai? Like, this is not how it's supposed to work. We can make it more efficient, right? My frusts always root out from inefficiencies, right? अगर 1 घंटे का काम 10 मिनट में हो सकता है, करो ना, and that's why I trust Gen Zs with their processes so much. Whenever I would work with Gen Zs, I'm like, hey, you know what? This is the output I want. Take whatever approach you want. I'm not gonna micromanage you or even interfere you in your approaches, right?
Yeah.
You wanna go this way, go this way. You wanna go straight, go that way, right? This is the deadline, this is the task. I trust you with that. Finish.
Yeah.
Right? Do it. And they
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, no, I get that. So, like moving on, I mean, we were discussing about the New York thing only. When we see in movies,
Yeah.
there is एक वो इंडिया में तो वो perception वही वाला हुआ है कि about the dating culture कि भाई वहाँ पे बहुत हर चीज easy है and that hookup culture. So what was your experience with
Yeah.
that, the early dating experience and the hookup thing, as compared to India?
Okay, bro, it's like, yeah, bro, the crowd here responds so differently, right?
Hmm.
The dumbest, in my experience, the dumbest of the shit works here, right?
Okay.
So if say if you are on say one of these dating apps, right?
Uh,
Tinder, Bumble, Hinge,
yeah.
right? And you would write a very smart joke in your bio, for
Yeah.
example, right? That won't work. That did not work for me for the longest time.
Hmm.
And then I just changed my bio to something as stupid as I know the difference between they are and they are apostrophe re,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that started to work. I was like, whoa, what's happening, right?
Uh,
And the biggest challenge for me there was, यार मैं हिंदी में तो बकचोदी कर सकता हूँ ना,
yeah.
ठीक है?
Uh,
For me to do bhakchodi in English, I have to translate that. So the words will translate, right?
uh,
But the emotions won't.
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, kya kar sakta hu main?
Uh,
You know? So how do you flirt in English,
uh,
right?
hmm.
And I would speak about this thing so
Hmm.
often, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, it's so different. Like the simplest and the dumbest of the things will work sometimes,
Hmm.
right? But the intellectual shit won't work here. Something like that.
Hmm. So, I mean, do you prefer
What else?
the
Yeah.
American dating culture more or India one? इंडिया में अभी भी यार वो यूजुअली इंडिया में इफ आई सी द जेन ज़ी थिंग नाउ दैट पिकअप कल्चर इज गोइंग ऑन आई मीन इट इज स्टार्टिंग बट अभी भी वैसा नहीं है जैसे यूएस में देखते हैं लाइक यू गो एंड यू आस्क कि भाई आई फाइंड यू अट्रैक्टिव बट अभी भी
Hmm.
यहाँ पे बहुत स्लो चलता है अगर पिकअप कल्चर पे भी तुम जाओ लाइक ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई पहले में ही
Right.
तुम नंबर लेके आ जाओगे और दूसरे दिन ही तुम उसे कॉफी पे ले जाओगे अभी भी बहुत स्लो है बट लाइक अमेरिका में
हाँ.
अभी भी उस चीज का मुझे लगता है डिफरेंस सो व्हाट डू यू प्रेफर कि भाई यूएस का अभी भी वे बेटर है
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that in a sense कि यार it's yeah, I have always been about I have zero social rejection fear,
ओके
right?
वो
So I would go to
प्रखर
girls
हाँ
and I
वो
would speak to them,
आई
things like
थिंक
that.
दैट इज बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाई यू एंड प्रखर आर लिविंग टुगेदर राइट एक वही सिमिलरिटी जीरो रिजेक्शन
Probably like even getting an internship, right?
हाँ
I had no fear of getting like going there and getting rejected in
हाँ
the office,
हाँ
right? In my face for
हम्म
an internship, right?
हम्म
Things like that. So I don't know how to answer that.
टू बी ऑनेस्ट आई थिंक लेट्स स्किप दिस पार्ट बिकॉज ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग आई है
ठीक है.
जो ये वाली आई है
हाँ.
भाई बिकॉज
हाँ.
आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ द people miss the opportunities because of the fear of rejection only so what is your take on it fear of rejection ka like if you want to deal with it
I see, bro. Get rejected. Do it. It's just okay.
hmm.
If I were to draw, I could draw 100 analogies between entrepreneurship and
Hmm.
dating, the pickup culture and starting a business,
Hmm.
right? Being rejected. It's the same parameters
Hmm.
on all of it, all of these things, right? Like say I'm working on a tech startup right now, right?
Hmm.
Bro, it's like I was at a venture capital event, right,
Hmm.
the other
Okay.
day, and I met founders who got rejected by 60 venture capitalists,
Okay.
right? Venture capital investors 60, right?
Yeah.
Imagine being rejected by 60 venture capital investors in on the same day, on the same
Yeah.
day. Your baby, your idea that you're
Yeah.
working with, working on, right? Things like imagine like iska ek parallel draw karta hu. It's the same parallel, right?
Hmm.
You go to a bar or you go to and you approach say 20 girls there, right? And you get rejected by all of them, bro.
Hmm.
As a man, you are mentally done for
Yeah.
that night, right?
Yeah.
But that is how no, right? The thing is, okay, what happens? Okay, let's everybody speaks about rejection, but
Hmm.
nobody crosses this threshold and looks
Yeah.
at what happens
What will happen?
next,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
What happens next, right? Rejection पे क्यों रोक रहे हो तुम
Hmm.
अपना, ठीक
Hmm.
है?
Hmm.
ठीक है. I get rejected 5 times,
Hmm.
right? What do you think I'm doing that night? Don't say jerking off, right? I am sitting with myself and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay, you know what was the thin line of difference
Hmm.
between being approaching somebody and being creepy,
हाँ.
being flirtatious and being super invasive,
हाँ.
right? I'm speaking to myself, right? I'm analyzing that thing in my head कि क्या
Hmm.
था, ठीक है?
Yeah.
कि मैंने ये किया, इसका रिस्पॉन्स मुझे ये मिला,
Hmm.
तो अब मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ,
Hmm.
right? So the second you go and get rejected again, right?
Hmm.
It's like the spiral. It's not a linear panel, na? कि यार
Hmm.
you get
Hmm.
rejected, right? It's a
Hmm.
spiral. So it's a spiral which goes up and up. So
Hmm.
even if the rejection is on the scale, right? Now, if you had a rejection here,
Hmm.
now your rejection is here. You're still better.
Hmm.
Then you have a rejection here, something like that,
Hmm.
right? Because yeah, we are intelligent beings, right?
Yeah.
You once you get rejected, you will come back and you will analyze. It will fuck
Hmm.
with your head for a bit,
Hmm.
right? And you're like, okay, मैं क्या कर सकता था और क्या करना चाहिए
हाँ.
था
Yeah.
मुझे. That's it.
Hmm. I think it
right?
depends on
Because
your approach, right?
what is the opposite of that,
Hmm.
right? The opposite of that is non-existence, right?
Hmm.
फिर इट्स बस तू अपने दिमाग में सोच रहा है कि यार मैं ये कर देता ना तो ये हो जाता,
हाँ
क्यों?
हाँ
क्योंकि
हाँ
मैंने हार्वी स्पेक्टर को करते हुए देखा है, सोच
हाँ
रहा
हाँ
है,
हाँ, हार्वी
और
स्पेक्टर,
प्रखर
या
ने ये बोला था,
हाँ
और ठीक है,
या
which is the third and the most important part of the equation, which is your
हाँ या
experience, your feedback.
हम्म
That's it, right? So that is what is important,
एंड टू बी ऑनेस्ट यार, सच्ची
right?
बताऊं,
It's like,
हम्म
हाँ हाँ हाँ,
रिजेक्शन
go
का
for it.
रिजेक्शन का यार हमें लगता है एक बार अगर मिल जाए ना, उसके बाद हमें पता है भाई कुछ नहीं, रिजेक्शन, देयर इज नथिंग भाई, फिर तुम्हें लगता
Right,
है ठीक है, इट वाज नथिंग, आई ट्राई अगेन, राइट? वो इतना कुछ ऐसे नहीं होता, एक जरा सा थोड़ा सा लगता है भाई कि पहले तो यार मैंने देखा यूजुअली लोगों को ना शेम होती है कि उन्हें लगता है भाई ओ भाई रिजेक्ट हो गया, मैं मतलब ये ईगो वाली बात आ जाती है
correct.
कि मुझे कैसे रिजेक्ट कर सकता है कोई, है ना? बट अब वो ईगो से अगर हटके थोड़ा और
Yeah,
देखो तो फिर इट डजंट मैटर, फिर कहते हैं नहीं नहीं कोई नहीं भाई, आई ट्राई अगेन, कोई नहीं, इससे रिजेक्ट हो जाएंगे तो कोई नहीं, आई ट्राई अगेन।
right. Bro, yeah, trust me. I come from a boys' boarding school. I
हाँ
spent 5 years
हाँ
in a boys' boarding school.
या
So, yeah, I've been on both sides of it. क्या हो रहा है, तुम मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर्स के सुन रहे हो, ठीक है, कि लाइफ के ये रूल्स ये हैं,
हाँ
रूल नंबर 1 2 एंड 3। यार तुम 20 साल के हो, ठीक
हाँ
है, तुम ऑलरेडी एक प्रीफिक्स प्री कंसीव नोशंस पे रूल्स सेट कर रहे हो, वो
हम्म
भी आउटसोर्स्ड सेकंड हैंड।
हम्म
मैंने जीवन जिया है, ठीक है, मैं अपने रूल्स तुझे बता रहा हूँ, और तुम
हम्म
20 साल पे उन रूल्स को बहुत सॉलिडिफाइड वे में ले रहे हो कि यार नहीं
हम्म
यार, लाइफ तो ये ही है,
हम्म
ठीक है, नहीं, लिव लाइफ, ठीक है। इट्स लाइक आई गिव यू एन एनालॉजी, ओके, आई हैव
हम्म
स्टार्टेड कुकिंग लेटली, यहाँ पे खुद ही खाना बनाना पड़ता है, ठीक
हम्म
है। तो आई हैव नेवर कुक्ड इन माय लाइफ, राइट? सो माय मॉम सेंट मी अ प्रेशर कुकर, राइट? वो पड़ा हुआ है मेरे साथ, मैंने कभी यूज़ नहीं किया है,
हाँ
ठीक है, और मैंने बहुत रिसेंटली यूज़ करना शुरू किया ना, चलो ठीक है, यूट्यूब पे देख रहा हूँ कैसे बनता है चीज़ें
हाँ
एंड एवरीथिंग, ठीक है। अब आई हैड एक्सप्लिसिट इंस्ट्रक्शंस फ्रॉम माय मॉम, राइट,
हाँ
कि जब उसमें प्रेशर होगा कि यू लेट द प्रेशर रिलीज एंड देन
हाँ
ओपन इट, इफ यू ओपन इट विल ब्लास्ट,
हाँ
ठीक है। मेरे अब नाउ द थिंग इज, आई हैव नेवर डन एक्स थिंग इन माय लाइफ, से कुकिंग राइट नाउ इन
हाँ
दिस केस,
या
राइट? तो आई डोंट नो हाउ फील्स कुकर फटना क्या होता है,
हाँ
ठीक है। मैं कह रहा हूँ कुकर फोड़ो ना लाइफ में, कुकर फोड़ो ना। ऑलरेडी मुझे एक्सप्लेन, ऑफ कोर्स दिस इज अ थोड़ा सा
हाँ हाँ
इनएक्यूरेट
हाँ,
एग्जांपल इन द
नहीं
सेंस कि इट्स
या
अबाउट सेफ्टी एज वेल
हाँ
हियर, राइट? माय लार्जर पॉइंट हियर बीइंग, अरे लाइफ में कुकर
या
फोड़ो तो
टेक द
फटेगा
लीप
तो क्या
ऑफ
होगा
फेथ,
ज्यादा से
टेक दैट
ज्यादा।
रिस्क, राइट?
हाँ, अ, अ, वो तो है, ठीक है, दैट्स
हम्म
सेकेंडरी। द प्राइमरी थिंग इज, डोंट सॉलिडिफाई रूल्स टू अर्ली ऑन इन योर
हम्म
लाइफ, ठीक है। इफ आई हैड सॉलिडिफाइड रूल्स टू अर्ली इन माय लाइफ, आई वोंट इवन बी हियर
हम्म
probably, right? That's what I'm saying. Listen to all the motivational speakers, but also keep in context where they're coming from,
हम्म
okay? If a motivational speaker tells you something, see what their life has been and why are they telling you something,
हम्म
right? It's like, even say the best of motivational speaker in the world, say Tony Robbins, comes and tells you something, and you are 18 years old right now, right? The advice will be great. In fact, it'll be very accurate to you as well, right? But you are 18,
हम्म
he's 50.
हम्म
Uska, he is coming from a perspective that you haven't even evolved.
हम्म
He can connect dots that you don't even
या
know that
या
exist,
या
right? So even if the advice is accurate, right, I'm saying it's just out of
हम्म
context, ठीक है। तू बोलेगा कि यार चलो यार, टोनी रॉबिन्स की ये 3 रूल्स हैं, ये करना है वो करना है, ठीक है, तो मैं लाइफ ऑलरेडी ऐसे
हम्म
जीऊंगा, ठीक है। ऑलरेडी तूने रूल्स डाल दिए विदाउट इवन एक्सपीरियंसिंग
हम्म
लाइफ, राइट? एंड नाउ यू आर लिविंग लाइफ इन योर हेड विद दोस
हम्म
रूल्स,
या
समझ रहा है?
हम्म
तो आई एम सेइंग, कुकर फोड़ दो ना एक बार,
हम्म
जलेगा ना, ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या होगा,
या
तेरा खाना जलेगा, ओके,
हाँ
बट डू इट इफ यू वांट टू डू इट,
या
यू नो। कि मुझे पता है, चल मॉम ने मुझे ये बोला है, पर मेरे अंदर कीड़ा है, मुझे देखना है क्या है
हम्म
कि यार कुकर फटेगा कि
हम्म
नहीं। अगेन ऑफ कोर्स आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि
हाँ
कुकर फोड़ो इन द सेंस लिटरली कि, बिकॉज़ इट्स अ सेफ्टी
या
इशू, ठीक है, बट आई एम सेइंग लाइफ में यार कुकर
हाँ,
तो फोड़ो।
मुझे लग रहा है इस पॉडकास्ट के ना
लोगों
इन द
को बोल,
स्टार्टिंग आई विल हैव टू पुट अ डिस्क्लेमर दैट ऑल द एडवाइसेस आर डोंट फॉलो इट ब्लाइंडली, कहीं पता चले ये लास्ट वाली एडवाइस ज्यादा सीरियसली।
हाँ, नो, बट I've said it, I've already given a disclaimer
या
while
या
saying it, right?
या
तो वो है, in fact that's my philosophy, right? Like, don't listen to people and take solidify exactly concrete में set in stone
हाँ
the rules that they are living their life with,
या
right? Things like that. That's it. Live your life,
या आई एग्री। एंड आई
ठीक
थिंक
है।
वो प्रखर वाले यार, वो मोटिवेशन स्पीकर में आ जाएगा प्रखर भी, इस जॉनरा।
Depends on the record है कि off the record है।
पता नहीं यार, जैसे भी मेरे को लगा उसकी
नहीं नहीं नहीं, नो नो नो, that's not the point. The point is not if Prakhar is a motivational
I
speaker
think
or
उसकी
not, right? The point is Prakhar has a set of his
हम्म
experience.
हम्म
है ना? Prakhar has a set of his experiences and he's translating with the best of intentions,
yeah
right? For you.
हम्म
So you don't have to face yes phase and you become the best version of yourself
yeah
way
no I get
quicker
that
than
point
you
yeah
would if his content did not exist. His
hmm
content is fantastic. Dude, I was telling my
no,
mom this
yeah
thing, right? I would have already learned these
hmm
things in the span of 2 years,
yeah
right? But just being around him, the stuff that I learned, which would have taken me 2 years or 3 years to learn, I learned it in like 8 months. My exposure and experience curve, my
yeah
learning curve went way
hmm
faster just staying with Prakhar and working with
hmm
Prakhar,
no I was only
right?
saying
मैं सीख जाता. It would have taken me a little bit more
yeah
time, right? But मैं सीख
hmm
जाता. But staying with Prakhar, I actually saw him,
hmm
right? And a big part of that was also observation, not
yeah
just taking
yeah
advice
yeah
from him,
yeah
right? Taking advice from him was a small part
hmm
of it. But I also saw how he interacted with people.
hmm
If Prakhar roasted somebody, I was
hmm
like, wow, okay, that was so tastefully done. How he enters a room, how he treats people, how he lives his life, like just sheer observance, right? And if I would have a doubt or like if I had to confirm something else, I would go and tell him, ask him,
yeah
right? That's it. It was like say 80% observation, 20% of his
hmm
advice.
no, I was
Again,
yeah
observation.
I was
Yeah,
confirming
yeah, yeah.
this because of his last controversy like कि अब वो कहेगा कि भाई मैं motivational हूँ या नहीं हूँ because of his last controversy with a motivational speaker
No, no. The point here being like whoever it is,
yeah
na motivational
yeah
speaker, life coach,
hmm
things like that, right? Just see where they're coming
yeah
from because they don't have the entire context of your life,
yeah
right? Uh, Listen to them, take the
hmm
perspective, exactly
hmm
that, right? Take the experiences,
yeah
exactly that.
hmm
But don't take rules ki yaar, bro, this person has told me
hmm
this and set it in stone.
yeah
Now I'm gonna live my life like
hmm
that,
hmm yeah
right? That's it.
we were talking about you and Prakhar working together and I really wanted to know
Yeah.
आप लोग मिले कैसे in New York
Yeah, I was completing my application to come to New York, right?
hmm
And tab I got introduced to Prakhar's channel, take it on Instagram or YouTube somewhere, right? And I texted him
hmm
straight up, ठीक है? I'm
हाँ
like, bro, I heard कि यार तू न्यूयॉर्क जा रहा है,
हाँ
मैं भी अभी जा रहा हूँ, ठीक है?
hmm
तो साथ में रहेगा, let's take an apartment together or something,
hmm
okay? And he's like, bro, I don't even know you, okay? I don't know, right?
हाँ
Then I was like, I have the messages, right? And then I was like, you know what?
hmm
I have a proposal. Hear me out first and then give me an answer.
hmm
Right? So the proposal was, right? And of course, it's Prakhar. You have to be
yeah
fucking articulate, right?
yeah
With your choose your words carefully there, right?
hmm
And I think my pitch was on the lines of ki yaar, your your interest, your inherent interests
hmm
lie in philosophy and psychology,
hmm yeah
but you are making videos now, you're getting into the video making
hmm
world, right?
hmm
On the other hand, I already make videos,
hmm
but my inherent interest in like human behavior and
hmm
psychology,
hmm
right? So our latter interests align together.
हाँ
तू वीडियोस बनाना चाहता है और मैं वीडियोस ऑलरेडी बनाता हूँ, ठीक
हाँ
है? तुझे सब पता है ह्यूमन बिहेवियर और साइकोलॉजी के बारे में बहुत कुछ, और मैं और सीखना चाहता हूँ,
hmm yeah
तो लेट्स वर्क टुगेदर, right? So, huh? And then he came to New York. I was also in New York. We
hmm
met, and then vlogs was our first venture
hmm
together. And,
okay
yeah, something like that. Again, see, cold approach,
yeah
straight up,
yeah
right?
that's great and you were talking about that your app thing like are you comfortable talking about that app you're working on
Oh, sure, sure, of
yeah
course.
so I mean what's
What about it?
yeah so like what is the idea behind that
Okay, yeah, there are a few. Okay, the app basically is
hmm
it's a new social media app
hmm
for family connections,
hmm
right?
hmm
To make family connections stronger, way more fun,
okay
right? And private, right? Um, it came from so this friend of mine.
hmm
I met him while playing poker
hmm
once in New York City. Okay,
okay
and then we just exchanged numbers, and maybe college kara tha, I was working with Prakhar and things like that, right? And then he has been working on it for the last say 1.5 2 years
hmm
now, right? And वो आया मेरे पास and he's like, Ash यार, I want you to be the chief creative officer of
okay
this thing, right?
yeah
And he came to me at a point where I was literally gonna move to LA in the
hmm
next 2 months.
okay
मैंने सब पैकिंग वैकिंग कर ली थी, ठीक है, रूम वूम
hmm
सब लेट कर दिया
yeah
था, and I was like, dude, okay, अब what do I choose between,
hmm
right? तो देन आई वाज लाइक चल ठीक है 2 महीना है मेरे पास ठीक है एंड लेट मी वर्क इट आउट एंड सो आई वाज I started working with him and I the thing is my job was chief creative officer so looking out looking for like the consumer acquisition strategy go to market strategy social media etc etc right but I already because he was the only founder I don't know I was like ठीक है 2 महीने है मेरे पास I already assumed the role of a co-founder right so I started doing more required I was like ठीक है 2 महीने है मेरे पास right तो I started working on it, and after 2 months, the closer my time was coming to move to LA,
Yeah.
the harder it was for me to, leave New York. I was like, यार, ये risk है, उठाना है मुझे, ठीक है? I would regret not doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
And by this time, like there were a few things that was super solidified on my end, right? One, this guy, he's all into this app, right? He's put his life into it. He dropped out from
Yeah.
school, etc., etc., right? And the second question I asked myself is, will I use the app? And I was like, I will, right? I believe in the vision and also the app, right? And then I assumed the role of a co-founder there, right? In the sense that I was working way more than like what was required, right? What my role was, right? And बस फिर यार end में I just made a decision कि नहीं यार if I don't take this risk in my life it was scary right I was nervous
Yeah.
but I was like no I want to do this right for the person I'm working with because I see that person day in and day out working his
Yeah.
ass on achieving this vision right and I believe in the product
Yeah.
right so that equation was great for me उसके बाद यार okay the app is basically okay now you'll be like okay how is it different from say
Yeah.
a WhatsApp family group
WhatsApp.
things like
Yeah.
that right right so it's basically think of your WhatsApp group taken out made into a whole new app and way more engaging way more fun right I I can't speak to the features about it right now
Yeah. Yeah. Now I get that.
but
That's
I
why I
will
was
soon
that's why
like
I was
we
asking you.
launch
Yeah.
we are launching in a month
It
so
sounds great. Yeah. It sounds great.
I'll be able to speak more
Yeah.
about it then
Okay. And when is your graduation?
graduation is in good question when is my graduation it is in a month in a week
तो I mean क्या parents आ रहे हैं या कैसा है सीन उसका?
parents are there parents are there bro
यार वो
हाँ
I think यार वो वाला सीन बहुत तगड़ा होगा यार. Like when your father will be seeing you graduating from New York, right?
yeah yeah
Yeah, but yeah. No, I wish.
that's a big
Yeah,
thing
yeah, man. And I wish
but
all the best for you,
that's
yeah,
way
man.
thanks man thanks no of course I don't know yaar I still haven't processed that I'm graduating because like it's like I've been like again bro the pace of the city is so fast I've
Yeah.
been working on so many things right I haven't even processed oh fuck college khatam ho gaya you know so yeah that way
No, it's great, yeah.
yeah
And I think, Ash, to be honest, this was a great conversation, and I enjoyed it very much. And really, really grateful that you did this, man. Really grateful.
no of course yeah yeah so bro also trust yourself
Yeah,
10% more than you do now that's
yeah,
it you guys
yeah,
got it right
yeah,
be around people who you feel who create a safe space for you you do that too right in reciprocation
yeah,
right life will be so much easier life is easy dude we make it complicated a
yeah,
little bit right
yeah,
it's challenging right but it's simple it's not
yeah,
easy but it's simple right why make it way more complicated than it is just be honest
yeah,
live
yeah.
life be acknowledge right किसी दोस्त से मिल रहा है and you sense कि यार कुछ गड़बड़ है
Ah,
tell them ask them यार hey I think something
mm,
is wrong right what is it right and see
mm,
what the reaction is that's
yeah,
it
yeah.
okay
And a
so
quick
solid
question is that painting from that Datecast episode with Sakshi
yeah
Lonkar?
yeah it belongs
Yeah,
to
it's that one,
Sakshi
right?
yeah
It's amazing.
yeah
Okay, okay, man. And it has been an amazing
okay
conversation. It has been an amazing conversation. Really, thank you.
likewise
Yeah,
bro
yeah, yeah,
okay
yeah.
keep it up
Okay,
okay
okay, yeah.
keep
Cheers,
keep
man.
up with your podcast and
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
good work see you bye
yeah.